XO Tour Life,
bro.
What is that?
Leslie, did Leslie do that one?
So I mixed the first one.
Oh,
Leslie mixed the second one.
Okay.
Keisha Lee mixed the final one, but then I came back and did one that went on radio. And he told me Quan runs out the room, no shirt on. I did a hit. I go in there, and that was my. Oh, this is right. I'm on the mix. He was like, bro, I can't let you do Justin Bieber. You don't know what to do with that. And I respected that.
I got it.
And I respected that. It was like, I do have something for you. That's on my dad's grave. Yeah. Vert and Reese were in there recording songs. That right then and there.
You know what? First off, I don't even think I want to do an intro just yet. I just want to say, I'm so glad this has finally happened. This is a conversation, not even an interview, but a conversation that I wanted to have with this gentleman that we have here today for so long. Before I even introduce him though, I am gonna have the respect. I'm gonna introduce myself and my co-host as well. So it's your boy Devvon Terrell. Welcome to the My Studio Nerds podcast for studio nerds like yourself. Please make sure you comment, like, and subscribe. And remember, one lucky person in the comment section is gonna get that VIP Gold Edition Rosetta EQ, compressor, uncompressor, whatever you want. Leave the best comment in the comment section and we're gonna get that for you to the left of you. You already know, it's Courtney C, 12. Hopefully that number gonna change soon.
The
I'm dead.
It's starting to get dry. It's starting to get dry over
It
here.
is, but you also have an Ableton user here, low key.
That is true.
Continue.
That is true. That's
Still federal. Sweater, FL Studio. You know how it is. I like the space too.
I know. So right now we're at the On the Radar space. Obviously, you've seen on my channel where we just like started the build and stuff like that, but we're more to a place where it's like finished and stuff. And yeah, now you found out my ulterior motive. This was going to be a Studio Nerds access.
Want to talk about other motives?
What?
How you my twin now?
First off, I did this first, but I'm gonna leave you alone. I did it anyway.
Do you got proof of that?
Ladies and gentlemen, of course I don't. You know I don't have it on wax. Ladies and gentlemen, we have a very prestigious guest with us today. Like I said, someone that we've wanted on this podcast for a very long time. Someone that doesn't need us to believe in him, but believed in him as far as what he's doing now and for the future and stuff like that with his businesses and everything. Ladies and gentlemen, we have a legendary, not just producer, executive, DJ, Don Cannon. Comment for Don Cannon.
Yes, sir.
Man.
I'm gonna double back and say I'm a number 12 user.
Yeah.
Let's go. That's how we gonna start this shit.
Let's go. Let me talk about that.
12.
His cult following is so ridiculous that you saying that, everybody, bro, I'm telling you, like,
you just activated a
whole cult. I'm like,
That's a good way to start this.
It's perfect. Listen, I'm here for the rage. Hey, real quick, just had a huge favor that I wanted to ask you, and that is, could you please subscribe to the channel? It would mean so much to the growth of this podcast, as well as ensure that we're able to do more and more cool things on this channel on a weekly basis. So once again, it would mean so much. It would be a huge favor to us and it would help us so much. Please subscribe to the channel. Okay, now back to your episode. So the first thing we like to ask everybody when they first come on is, what was your DAW journey? So what did you start in as far as just equipment or software, and then where are you now?
So I had a stop pit. So what I mean by that is when I was DJing, I was the first person to go Serato to the club. When I was coming to the club, they was like, yo, why you DJing off a computer? That looks stupid, right? A couple years later, I was like, why would I make beats on a computer? That's stupid, right? No ID stopped me one day. He was going to the studio. I think he was working with Jermaine on something. I come in with the ASR. He's like, yo, why are you carrying that dumb shit around all the time? He's like, man, you better get on this. It was Logic. And it was like, I was like, that's stupid. Why would I get on that? And he showed me what you could do on it. I was like, oh, right. I don't have to carry this around and I still can get my idea out. And that's what it was. And then, you know, Asher Roth period came and that's when we were working together on that album. I think it was Live 8.
Okay.
And Live 8, the warping was so hard to fix. And I was like,
Right.
So then 2 more years later, it just became live. But then later in my years, I realized that I will come to your studio. If you use Reason and I don't have my stuff, I don't want no excuses. So I'm gonna come use Reason. Right. You got FL, I'm gonna use FL. Yeah. I'm gonna use your Yamaha motif, whatever it is. I just didn't want no excuses. Right. So that was my DAW journey. My DAW journey was just kind of like, I went from Logic, I went to Ableton. Right. I studied FL. And then Reason. Right. You know what I'm saying? I worked on Cubase a little bit. I was watching Brian Kidd, which also worked with Polo. There was a Cubase type of thing when they had the Miko, so I learned that a little bit. But like me, I was just a fan of everything, bro. If whatever was if we was working on GarageBand, I got to it. So that's what I'm on.
What about the hardware side of it, though?
Yeah.
Hardware side. So I was ASR to death. I hated MPC. I know Andy's gonna hate me for this, but I didn't like I didn't like Akai. You know what I mean, for a long time. But I was gifted a 3000 by Focus. He gave me one. I got a candy painted by 4Rat. You know what I'm saying? So it was dope. It was blue. I had the 2000 XL, had the 2000. I bought them all as collector's editions. But then I started making beats. I watched Toot make a whole beat on the Phantom. So I just got the Phantom.
That's a fact. I know what era you're talking about. Because when I was seeing the Triton, the Phantom, I wanted, you needed, remember the Nico?
Yeah, that's what I just said. Polo had the Nico, but it had Cubase on it.
Oh, it was Cubase built in. Okay.
That was the computer that they were using inside.
Right.
It was Cubase, but like I said, I used everything I could, bro.
Right.
I wonder, like,
a virus. I had.
I want to ask you this: what does the word pause stop tape mean to you?
So that's crazy. When I first did this, I did an interview about 5 years ago, and I talked about it. I thought I was the only person that did that. You know what I mean? I was 6 years old.
Okay.
I had
you was young when
I had a karaoke machine. I would put the tape in there, do the break beat, pause, do the break beat for 3 minutes. Do the same thing, put in the karaoke and rap on it. So that's what the pause tape thing was first. But when I was bringing it up, they was like, "Oh, I did that too." I was like, "Well, I thought I was a genius."
Sure, you know, but you was a child. You still were. Like, don't get it twisted. But I think that, you know, I've actually heard Brian Malouf, like a few people doing that way back when. But to be, you say you were 6?
Yeah.
So okay, so let me ask you this, since we're at your like infancy. I heard one time that you said that you DJ'd your first party when you were 5 years old. Can you please explain that to me?
So I'll give you the timeline, and I'll probably give you some pictures so you can see it. The first turntable I got was two years old. The first record I got was Thriller that same time.
Wow.
Right? I had Thriller with Michael Jackson on there with the Tiger.
Sure.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So I think it was my first turntable, whatever it was called. My Uncle Keith gave it to me, right? Some years later, I just would sit there and be in the garage and watch him DJ, and it's like, yo, why is he so fascinated by that? My aunt didn't have a DJ for her wedding. I think I was like, I keep saying it was 5, but it's around 6 or 7. By the time let me get between 5 and 8.
Okay.
But you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I did a wedding, and I think I only had like 2 records. I think I had like I'm Every Woman and another record, but I was DJing the thing.
Wow. You know, and that was it. Right.
Yeah. So I did that around that time period, and I was rapping, DJing, and making beats all by that time. I used to go to Atlantic City, and they had these booths in like the pier where you can go and rap like karaoke.
Oh yeah.
But I would bring my own music.
Right. Smart. And shoot the music and shoot a little video.
I would bring my own beats.
Wow.
Right. I would bring my own beats, rap on them, and people would be out there. Like,
what's this record?
He's serious, but little did you know that you came with a plan. Like, nah, I'm at
my own record. I had it. You know what I'm saying?
Dead serious.
So that.
What's your old name used to be Brasco? What was that? Like,
so my first name was DEC, the Evil Sermon. I thought I was Eric Sermon.
Sure.
Right.
Okay.
So then it was The Last Don. That was in high school. That was my mixtapes.
Okay.
And then Donnie Brasco. But I named myself looking at the poster without even seeing the movie.
Oh.
Once I found I seen he was a cop.
So it was from that, were you in Brasco?
And they used to call me Don Canon, and I was like, my real name is whack, bro. Why would I use my real name?
That's crazy.
Corny.
Right.
And then I wound up doing it.
Yep. Yo, I have a similar story. Like my name, I always had Joe. I'm not telling y'all what my like singing name was back in the day because I don't want y'all to go Google shit. But I wound up just going with my actual first and middle name. Like I just want to go on Devvon Terrell. Like all my life I was fighting that, you know? But yeah. So within your journey and stuff like that, I know that you are also a Clark Atlanta alumni. Yeah, and you went there. And I know that a lot of things kind of got fortified like for you in that time. Can you kind of talk me through that transition between kind of like Philly and then getting into like the whole Clark Atlanta thing, which is a massive like kind of like shift for you, like just like
let me start because I'm gonna give you the real story because each interview is tailor made.
Sure.
You know what I'm saying?
Sure.
I think I wanted to go to Cheney University at first in Philly. My mom said, no, you're getting the hell out of Philadelphia because everybody's getting hurt. It just was bad situations in Philly. So I got accepted to Clark. My cousins were already down there. So she was like, yo, you be with your cousins, cool. We drive down there. I got this one specific picture. I take my DJ equipment out the car after we drove all the way from Philly to Atlanta.
Right.
I'm sitting outside dorm room at Brawley Hall, and I just got this mean mug. Everybody sees that picture to come to the house, like, why was you mean? I was like, I didn't want to be in Atlanta.
I'm new, yeah.
But I did not know what that was going to open up for me.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? It wound up me meeting Hebrew Brantley. I don't know if you guys know who Hebrew is. And Hebrew is this famous artist now, but he was in a group called God Complex.
Okay.
And he was down the hall from me, and I would make beats for them. My roommate, he's also a producer. Right. You know, we had a group called North Star. He had a girlfriend that was in the group. So we was like the new Fugees. You know what I'm saying?
I get it.
We had DJ Drama.
Sure.
We had Trendsetter Sense.
Right.
And I heard about the lineage later on. I didn't know who Shaka Zulu was and all those guys.
That you went to the same
they
school.
Were before me. So I was like, oh, they came here? So now I'm putting it all together.
Right.
You know what I mean? And as Brawley Hall was the boys' dorm, we had a basketball court that sat right outside. And it was crazy because the 96 Olympics, I went 97, 96 Olympics, they fixed up the projects, University homes around there.
Okay.
And then school was right in the middle of it. So the basketball, the hood motherfuckers would come over and play basketball with us.
That's a nice part. Right.
But every time I would go out and play basketball, if I lost the game, I'd go in my room and DJ out the window for the game.
Oh, that's smart.
Wow. So all the girls would be out there and I'd be playing the songs for them and they'd be out there braiding hair. And then when it's like, yo, you on the court? I stop DJing, come back out. You know what I'm saying? So that's where the start. And then, you know, all of the famous promoters at that time, and why I call them famous is everybody knew their face.
Right.
You know, Alex Giddywan, Biddy Barnes, all these guys. And they would come and see who was the new or the youngest in charge.
Right.
And that's how I got my name. I would be in a lunchroom DJing.
Right.
I would be in dorms doing that.
Sure.
And then it was like, yo, come to the club. And I'd be 18 DJing in their clubs and tearing it down.
Right.
So that was the journey from that. And you know, I made a name because I always talked about this. Me and Drum did mixtapes. Right. And it was the key to success. And I'm gonna tell you why. Atlanta was a melting pot from every city in the United States, right? So if I did a mixtape and you took it home to Chicago, Illinois, and you playing it for 10 of your friends, now I got Chicago. You went back to Kansas, now I got Kansas. You went back to New York, I got New York. So that's when people come back from the summer. Now they was like, I left my mixtape with so-and-so Chicago, I need another one. Now the whole Chicago's playing the mixtape. The whole St. Louis is playing the mixtape. So that was the key to our success with the melting pot of Atlanta. It was like everybody from everywhere is at the school. Right. And saying, it's like in Philly, every once in a while at Cheney, you might have somebody from New York, Boston, maybe Detroit. Atlanta was everybody.
Everybody was there. You know what I'm saying? And the funny thing about it is I was around for that era. I'm not going to expose my age, but I know what you're talking about, where if my cousin from South Carolina came to came to Brooklyn, where I'm from, she would play music and I would love that because I'd be like, oh, this is some whole other shit that no one's listening to. So I love to be put on the music. And I remember that era like that. So with that being said, I know that you met a lot of people at Clark Atlanta. Like for instance, I know that I believe you met Drama at the Promenade.
I did.
Can you explain what the Promenade is? Because obviously for someone like me, I'm in New York, I don't understand like the culture of Clark Atlanta. So what was the Promenade?
So the Promenade was the connection between Morehouse, Spelman, and Clark.
Got it.
It's a cluster. Yeah, but it was a cobblestone road that you couldn't drive through. Okay. That connected all the schools. Wow. So when you're passing, some people at Spelman had classes at Clark. Some people at Clark had stuff at Morehouse.
You knew that, huh? Yeah. You be hanging out. Okay.
Yeah. So the Promenade was just something that everybody was to be out there. It'd be Friday afternoon. I ain't got no class after 2. We just all out there. Right. It's hot. Thursday, it was Market Thursday. Okay. And you would go out there and people would sell clothes, all the new designers. I would go DJ out there, sell the mixtapes.
You meet 50, you met Nas, like you met all of those people.
We had a bookstore called Audrey's on there. Okay. And Audrey was where you had to be for school. Okay. So everybody came through. Mace would come through. Fat Joe come through. 50 come through. Nas. All these people came to the school to see the kids and sign autographs and stuff. Right. So that was the Promenade. That was like, you couldn't drive through it, so everybody was chilling out there.
And just walked out, just chilling and hanging around.
And it was the segue. If I had a girl at Spelman, I walked on the Promenade, I go get
it. You know, Promenade, like, yo.
You feel
that's
me?
crazy. I've never been at all. So as far as the Promenade, obviously, this is one of the places where you kind of met Drama and that kind of kicked off. What was that situation like as far as when that relationship kicked off? Because I know that was a really big like kind of moment as far as like that connection as far as you're with beats and stuff like that.
He wasn't, I don't know if he heard about me, but he did say, and I hope I ain't spilling the milk, he's doing a memoirs. And I did a interview, and it was a kid I went to school with that he was cool with, named Kyle. And Kyle said I was a cornball in high school. Okay. Right. So his immediate, when I stepped to him, he was like, oh, here go this cornball. But I was like, yo, I got beats.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Fuck all that.
And I wasn't no cornball.
Sure.
You know what I'm saying?
Somebody don't like you. You know, I know.
Yeah. You know what I'm saying? And that's my man. Shout out to Kyle.
Okay.
But when I got to him, he was kind of like, yeah, young boy, like, all right. That's the energy he was giving off. But he was giving it off because I think he had a prerequisite.
Yeah,
you know
of course. And back then, there was no internet. I couldn't search you. It's like whatever I heard. Yeah.
Facts. So I wound up giving the CD. He took it. Next day, he called me like, yo, your beats is crazy. You should come to crib. And I already knew who he was because a friend of mine, Jabari, was like, yo, when you get to Atlanta, you got to get over with DJ Drama.
Right.
He already popping. He be with Bahamadia, The Roots. You know what I mean? He was already Talib, Kweli. He was just connected.
In the scene.
You know what I'm saying? So it was just something I wanted to be a part of. And I think that when he actually really honed in, it was like, yo, I'm going to manage you. I'm going to just move your beats to everybody.
Perfect.
And then we became a team. And he also had a roommate, which was Trendsetter.
Okay.
And Trendsetter wound up being a part. And then we just collectively came together and just kind of like made the synergy work.
Got you. Was this before or after Super Friends, which you was a part of?
This was before that we connected.
Okay.
Then Super Friends happened, and then we broke off from Super Friends.
Got you. Understood. Okay. I was wondering about that. So really that kind of like, I would think to myself, like being that he's connected to the scene in Atlanta and stuff like that, like as far as getting your beats out there to them, like that was like a major breakthrough. So within that, what would you say is like the first one, like at that time that you were like, oh snap, like I caught that? You know what I mean? Like a placement wise, like which one?
So I had a couple beats. He had this, so take it back a little bit. Fat Beats was actually a store in Atlanta.
Yes.
It was on the second floor of this like convenience store.
Okay.
Everybody would come through there, right? And me and John would go there. You know, sometimes we couldn't get in. They would let certain people in. Like you had to know who. You know what I'm saying? But there was this group named Slick and Rose. They were signed to Virgin Japan.
Oh, is that a part of Virgin Records? Just a different subsidiary? Okay.
It was the Japan version.
Okay.
And Drum gave her one to be. He would give them beats, and they would be on all his mixtapes. He had a mixtape called Electric Relaxation. It was like the neo soul.
Okay, the vibe.
He
Right.
played all the joints.
Right.
They gave it to them, and I wound up getting money for that record. That was the first joint that I got, and I was like,
I'm in.
But I was doing stuff on mixtapes too, but it just wasn't resonating. People just didn't know who I was.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right. And that was it. Okay. So it's so interesting because through all of that, it's just like how that one moment kind of spiraled and like kind of like started to make stuff happen for y'all. With everything that you was doing, let's go to like, say for instance, like 2001. If I'm not mistaken, and you know, just hearing things and stuff like that, September 11th happens, right? At that time, were you still in school, in college?
Hey, quick thing before we get into this. I think a lot of producers overcomplicate their setup. You don't need 200 plugins. You need a few that you actually know how to use. That's why we've been checking out Plugin Boutique. It's basically a hub where you can find the plugins you actually need without digging through a bunch of different sites. They've got all the brands we talk about, plus deals and ways you can try things out. And you even earn rewards when you pick up stuff, which is pretty nice. If you're trying to simplify your workflow and actually get more done, it's worth a look. I'll leave a link in the description. And they're giving away a free plugin right now, so you can go grab something and try it for yourself.
September 11th, I was not in school, so I cheated the system. Right. The first 2 years, I was in school, but I wasn't going to class. I was already making money.
Yeah. Okay.
I was carrying crates. I was going to Drum. Drum was giving me like $50.
Sure.
Yeah. I thought I was the man. $50? I was like, yeah. I'm outside.
I can imagine.
I wasn't in school, but everybody knew me from school. So I was staying in the dorm. They didn't even know I was in school.
Facts. Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
I knew there's plenty of people. I just knew like, he just got it. He knows.
So I slept on the floor, and I remember my guy Jay waking me up like, yo, get up. They bombing the whole world. You got to go home.
Jesus.
And I said, what are you talking about? He's like, yo, look on the TV. But as he's telling me to look at the TV, everybody's stuffing their bags. I look out the window, and he's like, I just see people running in and out the dorm. They packing their bags, everything.
Right.
They blowing it up. He's like, call your parents. We got to go, bro. We out. Right. And I'm like, oh, but I was like homeless.
Yeah.
You know
that's why I was wanted to ask about it, because I was like, yo, bro, what did you do in that situation? Because everybody went home.
Yo, I didn't know what to do. So the first thing I did, I had like a little, I done finessed the people on the promenade. They had these like, get a Sprint phone for free for the first 6 months.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So I finessed it and got one of them like trios.
Yeah.
So I called my mom like, yo, she's like, yo, they blowing up the world. What you gonna do? You coming home or you gonna stay down there?
Yeah.
whatever you want to do, you got to make a decision right now.
Right.
Yeah.
And I was like, that's the first time I was like, look, Ma, I got something to tell you. I haven't even been in school. I was just down here for the whole year, just on somebody's floor.
Right.
Just
You kept it real.
living, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And she was like, I don't give a fuck. Are you coming home?
That's real.
Wow.
She was like, I'm in Philadelphia. We're probably next to get bombed because, you know, there's a lot of stuff going on in Pennsylvania.
Yeah.
So she was like, tell me what you're going to do. I said, yo, I'm going to stay down here. I don't know how to get home, get on the train. I'm calling my homeboys. All their phones is off. They like, yo, my homie Mike, bro, his sister was supposedly in the building.
Oh, at the time. Okay.
Yeah, and he wasn't answering the phone, right? I finally ran him to him, like, he's like, bro, I can't get in touch with my sister, man. She work in the building.
Passed out.
She ain't go to work that day.
Oh, thank God. Man. That's crazy.
So it was a lot of that going on. So everybody's confused. That whole day
Right.
just seemed like everybody was running. Everybody's going to great.
No, it was crazy.
Everybody was just doing any and everything.
Yeah.
And I was like, bro, I have nowhere to live.
Yeah.
You know?
Right. And so is that where you kind of moved in with drama? But I think eventually you want to get your own apartment, right? Like,
Yeah,
at some
so
point.
drama, right when that was happening, I was like, yo, I don't got nowhere to live.
Right.
He's like, yo, you can stay on the couch, bro.
Type shit.
So I stayed on the couch. I just had to follow rules. No shoes in the crib.
You know the vibes.
You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
yeah.
And that was the house that he had everybody coming to,
Right.
but it was still like the slums. Like it was
Right.
still like
Yeah.
he was still trying to get his money together,
Right.
and everything. But you know, he let me stay long enough for me to get a couple of dollars from the club.
Okay.
To get my first apartment.
Got you. And that was it.
So
Yeah.
how do we get from there to the affiliates?
So around that time we was doing the Super Friends. I was still homeless. You know what I'm saying? We were running around with Mars and Trauma, which were the heads of the Super Friends. And one of the things we noticed was it was all about the Super Friends. And we had a collective. We was already bonded. You know what I'm saying? It was trying to figure out how to make, you know, our way.
Right.
And we just didn't see eye to eye with them on certain things or how it was going. It was like we showed up, and not to be non-team players, we showed up as Super Friends too much. When people was like, yo, come
I
over
get
here.
it. Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So
right.
we wound up, it's funny, this is the craziest shit. We started doing our own thing, but we didn't have no name.
Yeah.
You know what I'm
Okay.
saying? We just couldn't figure out a name. And then, you know, we had a manager and it was like, yo, y'all from Philly, y'all pH Balance. We're like, bro, that's women's deodorant.
Age balance.
Bro, you feel me? I was
Wow.
like, that's women's deodorant. Like, bro, what? But it made sense because it was like
does.
pH,
I get it.
balance. I was
We
like,
get it.
My goodness.
Right? So then one day my man's like, nah, man, y'all know everybody, man. Y'all affiliated. Y'all the affiliates. And I was like, oh, that's it.
That's hard.
Or, yeah.
That's it.
And that's what it went. And this is, what year would you say this is around?
2003.
Okay.
I was just about to say, because like from there, then how do we get to Gangsta Grills?
Or the
So-
first Gangsta Grills.
So,
Yeah.
before he goes there, good
What
one,
do you think?
Generation Now,
Yes.
the mixtape series.
Mm-hmm.
That, I feel like a lot of people don't know that obviously your label and stuff like that is Generation, like, legendary, but it started off as a actual mixtape series first, where you had artists like Ye, you had a bunch of people on those projects early on. And could you tell me about like that whole series and stuff like that? Because I don't think a lot of people know about that. You had a lot of people on those mixtapes.
Yeah, so when we were making mixtapes, we were trying to figure out how we can make money.
Right.
Because at this point, I'm like, bruh, I'm broke as hell.
Sure.
I had some friends at some of the restaurants who was like, yo, come get some cocoa bread and a chicken patty. Yo, come get some pizza and garlic knots. I even got managed by Son's Pizza for a little while so I could just eat. I was just broke.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? I had no money. You know, once you leave the nest, my mom's, she was like,
figure it out.
you know what I'm
Do your
saying?
thing.
You know, and it was like, I thank God for it because I became a man in that sense. You know what I mean? So I was still finessing. I was going to steal pizza. I was going, but I was like, you know, I was doing what I had to do.
Right.
You know what I mean? And what happened was, Drum was making he was making these tapes and he was selling, but it was like, he had to make something that was commercial. He was anti. You know what I'm saying? So they had him and Trent had a tape called Something for the Glaze that was like for the commercial people.
Oh, okay.
You know what I'm saying?
Got you. Okay.
And they had 2 volumes, and then he had a tape called How the South Was Won. That was the original Gangsta Grills.
Okay.
So How the South Was Won was a Dirty South tape. But he was like, bro, it was still like curated well, like,
Okay.
you know what I'm saying?
Right.
And
It
so
still
he
was
like,
it wasn't like sellout. It was like, yo, like they really put something together.
Commercial.
Right.
So I think I did something called the After Party, which I would do blends with all the radio records.
Okay.
Hip hop and R&B.
Right.
And it would sell crazy.
Right.
So he was also like, yo, I need something for commercial, this, that, and the third. So he made a commercial tape and it was Gangsta Girls. I think it started as a joke. He had to answer.
Right.
It started as a joke. He had the big grills on the tape, like, yeah, buy this, y'all buy that. You know what I'm saying? It sold.
Right.
And it went crazy.
It went crazy. Yeah.
So then that led to us saying, yo, let's do something where we do something for artists only. You know what I mean?
Right.
And we would move, we would scour, we on the internet looking for records, you know what I mean? White labels, whatever we had to do. We had friends that worked at magazines that would get albums early to review.
Sure, I remember that era. Yes,
You know
I
what
remember
I'm
that
saying?
time, yes.
One of them was Kanye's first album.
Wow.
You know what I mean? Nobody would listen to him at the time. It was like, bro, Rockefeller, get him out of here. He makes beats.
Yeah.
And the album was good.
Right.
So we was like, yo, let's break him. And we had to figure out a name. And at that time it was Generation Now. It was Kanye, Joe Buttons, Stat Quo.
Yep. Wow. Shout out Stat Quo. Rest in peace. Yeah.
Corey Guns.
Yeah.
Or you got
Santana.
Right.
J Mills.
Bro, legendary time. Because that was J Mills. Because that was Ines. You worked with a bunch of people. And Ines, that era, like that, to me, that era was like, remember the Coast to Coast mixtapes and stuff? Like it was all about the mixtape, dog, like back then. So that's why I feel like with the Generation Now one, I was so intrigued because I was like, damn, bro, this is the era where we wanted to get our song like on y'all mixtapes. Like that was the way. Like A&Rs used to have like boards. I remember going to some of the A&R boards and they would have like all the mixtapes and they would write down how many units each one sold. And they'd be like, okay, so I can get my artist song will get 6,000 there, 5,000 there. Like they would have y'all like that, like in that whole thing. So with that being said, and you just asking about the Gangsta Grill stuff and stuff like that, what would you say is like one of the bigger records that kind of took off
from that era?
Right. Yeah.
On that Generation Now tape was Slow Jams.
Oh, wow. Oh, I didn't know that.
Slow Jams was like, wow.
Wow.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. It came from that mixtape. I didn't know that.
Yeah, because we had the album early, so nobody had it. But the crazy thing was, we went to Kanye, he was in town, and I remember Drum asked for some drops. He was like, bro, I can't do drops for y'all. I'm a heavy hitter. And we was crushed. We was like, damn.
Oh, wow.
You know what I'm saying? He was like, I'm a heavy hitter DJ. DJ enough. It was like,
that was that time.
He was loyal to them.
Right.
So it was like, all right, so I had to figure something out. So what I did was, Kanye had like this little CD that came with his life journey on it. I took little bits and pieces of him making it when he was in there with GLC and made it like our drops. So I made an intro.
Right.
And that tape got popular off of that.
Right.
So that was that journey of that. But then you had one of the biggest that never really seen super light, but everybody knows, was I Can't Feel My Face, which was Joel Santana. Wayne. All those freestyles, crazy. Which was Joel's wound up trying to do a tape with Jeezy. And one of them joints over the 3-6 Mafia was big.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying? Trap or Die by Jeezy's song was classic. You know what I'm saying? So it was a lot of songs in that time period that was like, whoa. Like T.I. had some joints. Like off of Down with the King, them joints were like major.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But for us, like it wasn't on the radio.
Yeah. No, but the streets knew, like we knew, like, because mixtape culture was mixtape culture at that time. So I understand that. Like,
so Slow Jams probably was like, whoa.
Right. Like the really, really big one for y'all.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
So at what point, not to move too far along, but at what point do y'all decide to make Gangsta Grills this kind of a brand for
It was the biggest and it sounded off the most. Like Lil Jon saying, Gangsta Grizzles. It was like,
that was John.
That was John.
And in my perspective, we were the QVC people. You know how you got a product and you have to have the people selling it on TV. We're like, yo, come buy this. That's what we were to the artists.
Got you.
And Lil Jon was another QVC component. Gangsta Grizzles.
Legendary.
You know what I'm saying?
That tagline. Right, bro.
I had no idea.
Everywhere, bro.
It was different. And it was like, bro, anytime you heard that, they saw us, they was like, Gangsta Grizzles. So that was bigger than affiliates at one point. You know what I mean? So we was like, and this is what's good about us. We were so big at branding and marketing. We would do things like okay, Gangsta Grills is big. How do we bring the affiliates up? So when they came in and do they drops, we used to be like, yo, say affiliates, bastards, or whatever.
Yeah.
Now that starts saying the affiliates, nigga, Gangsta Grills. And it all kind of leveled out.
Synonymous.
And it was like we made multiple brands. You know what I'm
Right.
saying?
From just all that exposure.
Which to your point about it having a very QVC kind of like sense to it, it allows you to switch hats
There
like
you
on
go.
the fly, like as
Yeah,
you're
because
going.
Gangsta Grills didn't get us in a club. Affiliates got us in a club.
Got you.
We
Okay.
wanted to DJ, it was the affiliates. If we wanted to break the streets, it was Gangsta Grills.
Got you.
Wow.
Got you.
So we had to have both
Uh-huh.
to do things. And Drum was like, he controlled the streets.
Right.
And I controlled the clubs.
Yeah.
Right.
And I was
Wow.
going like 4-7 nights a week.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like every party, Shaq, Diddy, fucking
Whoever was in tech, like
bro,
whoever.
I controlled the clubs.
Right.
I was the youngest. I had a joint called the Glass Room, where people would come and take a break from the main part of the club, come in the Glass Room, and I would play all B-sides.
Wow.
And
Okay.
that was famous. You know what I'm
Right.
saying?
Of course it was. Yeah.
So
People actually went to the club to listen to music back then, bro.
There you
You
go.
know what I
So-
mean? Like,
yeah.
I missed that like
Yeah.
so much.
So,
Uh.
messy question. I don't think it's messy, but I wonder, what is your top 3 Gangsta Grills tapes, or just
Oh, that's
overall,
not messy.
yeah.
That's easy. I
Yeah.
mean, you know, I will always say, and people don't know this, Slim Thugs, Gangsta Grills was one of my favorite.
Yeah.
Because he was so commanding with his voice
Right.
and what he was doing down there. He was really a boss. When we talk about people saying the boss hog outlaw
Yeah.
or the boss, he was a boss.
Mhm.
My man had money. He knew how to invent.
Yeah.
Right.
He knew how to rap. He knew
Organization.
all about music. He had 13 cars. He had the first mansion I saw in Houston.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying? It was a boss. You know what I'm
Mhm.
saying? But then he had other bosses around him that he did not get along with.
Right.
Like he was good with Paul Wall. He
Yeah.
was good with Mike Jones, at least on paper.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But when I went down there, they was all moving as a unit.
Right.
But he was like the boss.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
For sure.
Right.
Yeah.
So when I first went down, I was like, oh, all this hadn't happened for him. Like, you know, see him like
Right.
going crazy.
Right.
Pharrell was around.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Like you
Jay-Z
saw that
got on his record.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So that was one of the best. Pharrell's was good because we got prime Pharrell rapping and
Crazy.
being free. Like you
Right.
never heard somebody on Wu-Tang beats. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
It's crazy.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And then, you know, my least out of all of them, and they're still the greatest, would be Dedication and Trap or Die.
Yeah.
But Trap or Die is probably my second favorite.
Uh-huh.
But I think that people pick it so much
They
that I
pick it,
try
yeah.
to go
I
against
feel
the
that.
grain.
Right. And be like,
You know what I'm saying?
it's a layup. You're like, yeah, of
Yeah.
course. Like that one if you pick.
That's
Right.
my history. Like
Yeah.
Jeezy is like my start. So
Right.
Yeah.
I can't go on record and say, yo, it's the favorite.
I feel you.
You know what I'm saying? It's
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
yo,
yeah,
everybody
yeah,
thinks that's my
yeah.
favorite.
Yeah,
sure.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So those, Dedication, like
Right.
those the top five.
For sure.
Five
Yeah.
that's like,
Yeah,
I,
of
I
course.
will say this. You have, all right, so I grew up in, while you were like just destroying everything, right? Where that tag, oh, so I meant to mention in the beginning, you have one of the greatest top 3 tags of all time.
I don't know where it came from.
Top 3 tags all time. But I remember when I was younger, and obviously it was hard to get beats and stuff like that. And sometimes we get a beat CD, which was a blessing by God, right? And I remember Canon, you know, with Wayne and stuff like that. And I never forget, you have 2 of probably one of the greatest, I'd say, how can I say? Like you had 2 of these beats you had, everyone wanted to get on.
I just
One is, of course, Canon with Lil Wayne.
Yeah.
And Canon, and then no, and then the other one was Go Crazy by Jeezy. Everybody hopped on like those records and stuff like that. So I asked you this: how did that record come to fruition as far as Go Crazy and stuff like that? And you working with Jeezy?
I'll tell you both, but
Uh-huh.
and I'll tell you why it was the gift and the curse after.
Okay,
Jeezy came about. I made that beat originally for Willie the Kid. That was my artist, but it had break beat drums on it.
okay,
And one of my guys came to him and was like, bro, why you be DJing a club and making things ring off, but you make these like in the house
break kind of stuff. Yeah,
and they messed me up. I was like, damn, I don't. So I wound up getting an 808 and a clap and putting it on that. You know what I mean?
right.
And Willie the Kid, they wound up not rapping on that. They had so many beats of mine. They was like, whatever.
Another one, right?
You know what I mean? So I wound up giving it to Drum, and Drum had T.I. freestyle on it.
What?
Wow.
And it was on the end of Down with the King.
Okay.
So one day at the club, people were talking about this freestyle. One day at the club, it was Jeezy's Trap or Die official party.
Okay.
At the end of the club, when it was the walkout, I played it 9, 10 times back to back. I just kept playing it.
Right.
To the point I looked up and Jeezy was staring dead at me like,
like, yo, you good, my G?
and
Like,
then he walked up to the booth for like 20 motherfuckers, right? He was like, what's up with that beat? I was like, it's yours.
Right.
It's like, yo, meet me at Patchwork tomorrow.
wow.
I met him at Patchwork. Well, people don't know, and I showed the remake of this on my show,
Yes,
right?
you did.
People don't know that when I went to do it, the fucking floppy disk failed. It was corrupted.
Oh.
But I didn't say nothing to nobody. I just remade it real quick. Like I put my headphones on and acting like I was getting ready to set it up to be stemmed out.
Right.
I was really remaking the beat.
Oh, shit.
You know what I'm
Okay,
saying?
that's crazy.
So I remade the beat right then and there, and then gave it to him,
Right.
and that became
Go
Crazy. But a couple months later, Coach K was like, yo, I got something special for you. He was like, get Hove on it. I said, man, get out of here. You tripping like a mug.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And then I'm speed rolling through it because I want to get to the main point that I never talk about. But even with Canon, Atlantic Records called me after that because it was a bidding war for me to get like a pub deal on certain things.
Yeah.
Once the Go Crazy came out, my phone was on fire.
Yeah.
It was like, and then Jay-Z popped on it and it was in the source.
Yeah.
It was like, bro.
Source.
I was like, yo, I don't know what's going on.
Right.
I got a call from Atlantic. Mike Karen's people called me. It was like, yo, look, we want to send you to Miami to work with Trick Daddy. And I was like, oh, one of the best rappers in the South. I could give him something crazy.
Right.
I go down there, we're at Circle House, and I'm working on records. Cannon is the first beat I make for Trick Daddy.
Right.
But Trick Daddy, I don't think he knew. Later on, I figured out he didn't know that I was at the studio working for him because he never showed up. He was like doing Trick Daddy shit. He was
straight
boy. He was big at this time.
Yeah.
He's going to strip clubs and do that. And I think it's one of those things when A&Rs try to hook you, producers up with artists. Right. And sometimes the artist's like, I'm not going. I don't even.
Sure.
At that point, I'm not DJ Premier, whatever it was.
Sure.
You know what I mean? So I think that I'm in the studio, I'm making this beat. He doesn't show up. Fiend is there, right?
Okay.
Fiend does the original hook for that record. And I was like, bro, this is crazy. He was like, bro, I think we did one, but we never really got Trick to come and do it.
Right.
So I took the record with me. We gave it to Bohagan.
Okay.
And Bohagan had it and he rapped on it first.
Yeah.
And then we had like a little battle if he was gonna get it or not. Dron wound up giving it to Wayne. Wayne rapped on it for 3 minutes straight.
Right.
I had to go back and make a verse out of it.
Got it.
He rapped on it all the way through till the beat faded out.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
And I'm gonna tell you why I say it's a gift and a curse with those two records, because after those records came out and people asked me who I want to work with next, I couldn't say nothing because everybody in the world rapped on them beats.
Oh wow.
I worked. It was like you ain't got no favorite artists? Yeah, they already rapped on the beat.
Right.
And they were out. It's not like they rapped on this in the studio.
Right.
They're on everybody's mixtape. So if you hear Fat Joe, you hear
Bro,
Mary J. Blige,
everybody.
Ghostface, anybody and everybody rapped on them two records
Right.
in the first 2 years. So it became like, am I satisfied? Like I got everybody.
I got everybody on my record. Yeah. Facts.
So
Everybody
I didn't know no better. So I'm just on here like, bro, what do I do from here? The only thing I do, like I said, I was gonna say Stevie Wonder. You know what I'm saying?
Yo, why did everybody default like, you know what?
Stevie.
Fuck it. Stevie. Yeah, I get it. Yeah.
Who else I'm gonna get?
Yeah.
Everybody's rap. Like even when I didn't ask them, people rap. It was like,
Yeah.
oh, did you just hear so-and-so on your beat? I'm like, how?
You're right. The whole hood with, bro, like I said, I told you, and I'm glad you brought that up because that was, those two beats in general, bro, it was everywhere, dog. Like,
To hear R&B songs on those beats, I was like,
he was like, how?
You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
that was the gift and the curse of it because I didn't know where to go from there. I had to do a refocus, re-thought process to that. Like,
Okay.
where am I going now? Like,
Right.
who am I Sam I'm going to work with?
Right.
I already
Right.
had Jeezy and
Right.
so
Right.
he was going to rap on anything I gave him.
Right.
Tip was there. You know what I'm saying? I just had things that was like, who do I talk to?
Right.
Who
at
am
that
I sending
point.
beats to?
Right.
You know what I mean?
Shout out KP too, by the way.
Oh,
That's actually his manager too. That's,
I know.
yeah. That's his manager. Yeah. So I just want to say shout out because I
I
know.
sent them some beats.
Oh yeah.
I ain't heard no songs yet. Though.
Oh.
The beats is probably whack.
No. I didn't get that pack.
You didn't get
If
it?
I got
the pack.
Oh,
You throwing this on KP?
Well, I
too?
would have yeah.
Okay. He threw it on KP.
I'm gonna call KP.
Oh, you gonna re-get it?
I need them.
He gonna get it.
I need them.
Send it again. Damn, please send it again.
So
You gonna hear me on
back
that.
on Gangsta Grills, because when I tell you this is what's funny, so there's this shout out to, it's a show, but it's also like this card game. It's
You on it, right?
yeah, I just did an episode. What is it? What's the scenario?
Oh.
So what's the scenario? It's a hip hop card game. It's basically like
Was it
Cards Against Humanity
Sure.
for hip hop,
Right.
right? And me and the guys were playing and wanted some came up of like greatest mixtapes of all time, but it turned into what's the best Gangsta Grills mixtapes of all time, right? And when I tell you I might be dragging it. 90 minutes is just fast. No, and then I'm over here, Jeremiah, fucking Little Brother, all of this shit.
Oh, yeah, Little Brother was crazy.
Dog,
Yeah.
how did y'all go about choosing and filtering? And I'm sure there was a few people that was like, nah, too. So how did y'all like get that together?
Little Brother came up, I think Drum was like, he was heavy Little Brother, bro, at that time.
Yeah.
And
Shout
I
out
feel
to-
like he was
yeah.
like, bro,
Yeah.
that would be crazy if we did that.
Yeah.
A few fell in everybody's lap. Like,
Oh, wow.
Pharrell was like, yo, I
Yeah.
gotta do this. This is hip hop pinnacle. You know what I'm saying? And there was a couple like that, but like the Little Brother was like, man, we have to do that.
Yeah.
And it was like, we definitely doing that.
Yeah.
Jeremiah was the same thing. I think the brand just meant so much to artists at the time. It was like,
Yeah.
bro, these artists were getting robbed of their budgets. You know what I'm saying? Like they had no out.
Yeah.
Like it was tough. And we had to be the people that was going to be like, yo, let's get them there.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And it's helping both of us. So we're being the spokesman and they're putting out great music and we're just putting it out.
Yeah.
And we didn't have to go through all this BS. You know what I'm saying? But the legal ramifications we didn't know about. We didn't know about stickers on the back. We didn't know this. All we knew was we doing something for the culture.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? We're getting out there in a space where it's like, yo, we're breaking artists.
Sure.
And that's what it is. Like y'all kind of in a sense became the A&R for the streets.
For sure.
Yeah.
Yo Gotti, like being in New York, that might be my introduction to a Yo Gotti or to a like, especially before the internet when everything was so regional.
Yes, sir.
So to even have y'all ears so spread out like that is just,
It's just insane.
it changed hip hop. Yeah.
And speaking of just changing hip hop and stuff like that, and in that situation, obviously, you know, what you just said as far as the stickers on the back and the whole situation,
Man.
I know about the situation that happened with y'all. And a lot of people weren't there for that time, but a lot of people, I used to hear people say that y'all literally took the L for hip hop, like in that era, because it was like, it was a thing. Like even everyone, and let me say this, everyone was so confused, right? Like, wait, but this is a thing, like this is our thing. And I think that is something, it's a gift and a curse as far as that situation that happened to y'all, because I feel like y'all educated the legal side of just the music industry, like RIA, and to help them understand like what this was. And I know that was a hard time for anybody, right? Yeah. But as far as coming out on the other side of that, right? And, you know, obviously like taking the L for hip hop in that sense. What was that? From music. Sorry.
Yeah,
my fault. Bigger than rap.
Yeah.
What was like coming out of that on the other side like for you? Like as far as like that transition?
So
Have you ever felt like your mix was loud but still sounded small? That's exactly what the 100-pound plugin helps fix. It adds weight, density, and perceived loudness by pushing the mid-range into a saw clipper without making your mix extra muddy or harsh. Use it on vocals, drums, guitars, 808s, or your full mix. Use code HMD20 for 20% off your purchase at helpmedevvon.com. I'll leave a link in the description.
I'm gonna bring it back because this is an important part of it.
Yeah.
So how it all happened was we did Gnarls Barkley's mixtape, right?
Classic. Yeah.
They were on Downtown Records. Nobody knew they was being Gnarls Barkley. It was just these two guys. Right. Was like, yo, we got some hits, but we ain't got no marketing. We need help. Right. And we was like, oh, CeeLo, hell yeah. We know what you're gonna do.
Yeah.
And it was like, Danger, okay, cool. You know what I'm saying? We'll figure it out.
Yeah.
And we also had something where it was like John Legend was talking on a tape.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
From my knowledge and my understanding, these tapes were selling at a mall on a stand with other bootleg movies and stuff. So when they came to raid for the movies, they asked where they got the mixtapes from. And the movies, they thought we were a big distribution warehouse. Yeah. They're selling all this stuff. So we got caught up in the whole bootleg movies, bootleg albums, bootleg Air Force Ones, bootleg, you know what I'm saying?
Yes.
And it all just was like, oh, okay. So I think that's what they came for when they raided us. They were looking for Louis Vuitton purses, you know what I'm saying? And not really knowing the ramifications. So
I never heard you. I'm so sorry to stop you. I never heard that one. And thank you, because I think that's what baffled me the whole time, because I was like, there's so many of them. Why you? Now that makes a lot of sense.
Yep.
That they saw all of that and just like, okay, this is
and
one.
it's exclusive. I don't know if we've ever talked about this before, but that's what I think they came from.
Got it.
And I feel like when we were going through that mission, we didn't know why it was like that.
Right.
But if you look at it in the steps of it, it was like God making music in a new way. It was like streaming. But you're the pawn to help streaming get here.
Literally.
Understood.
But we didn't see it.
Right.
We didn't see it coming.
Yeah.
Because, you know, at that time, we did not know live mixtapes were brewing.
Yeah.
All these
that
things.
piff. Like, I know the vibes, bro.
So
yeah.
now coming out the raid, it was like, on the other side, it was like, one of the things, everything we were trying to do was saving us.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Only thing that wasn't saved, it was our relationship at first because we were pointing fingers.
Sure.
You did this to us. Sure. No, you did it. Or you was doing this. We didn't know because it's the feds.
It's the feds, bro.
You know what I'm saying?
Like, anything, the feds, listen, let me say this. Anybody that ever has to deal with the feds, like, I pray for you. You know what I mean? As far as as far as friendships, I don't care if it's your mama, like everything gets, called into question.
Yeah.
So I get in that time where things could get just shaky and stuff like that. I'm very glad though that y'all came out on the other side of that and y'all educated a lot of people through that experience though.
Yeah, and you know, the reason, like I said, we watching these steps happen and God changing it this way.
Right.
So think about this. It was an intern at the RIAA that was champion for us that we didn't even know. He was in the building telling them, no, they the good guys. This is what they're doing. And they wasn't listening until he put the tapes in front of them. Like, listen, John Legend is saying Canon, Trendsetter.
Right, this is original stuff.
And he's like, and so I guess they start looking like, oh, they actually are promoting. And these artists are asking them to promote. Yeah. And at the time, it's a gray area. You know, the RIAA is a legal system to protect copyright and people.
Yeah.
So they can't play our side.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So we had to figure out a way that it worked for both of us, for them to be like, you're actually helping the game to grow.
Yeah.
Yes.
And it's a legal thing going on here.
It's a gray, it's a little gray area.
So we had to figure out the place, but we came to a place where it was like, yo, the PSA is low, no pirating music.
Of course.
You know
I remember that.
Because we weren't trying to do that anyway.
Right.
Everything was to get ourselves into the club, make some serious money in the club,
break artists,
break the artist.
Right.
The artist was the main thing. That's why our mixtapes went from random songs to it's all your shit. It's all your shit.
Yeah.
And that was the kind of gift and the curse on that too, because it was like, bro, we didn't know that game was happening. We lost all our bread, and then it was like, oh snap, we going in the streaming world.
Yeah. Right. And then the transition happens.
So I'll tell you my fault. The three most important, I could say cases, I guess, hip hop or music history, I say, but hip hop because they're all like adjacent. It's Nicki against Tracy Chapman. It's I forget the lady, but she wanted remember when Pac and all of them spoke up against her, she was like really upset about the messaging in hip hop, and
then she tried to
in the 90s,
she tried to get hip hop like
that, and then this
and
because when I tell you, even though it directly threatened the idea of the mixtape,
it did.
Yeah, it had a hold on the whole game because again, they did not have marketing. When you signed to a label, it was like figured out.
Yeah,
that's a fact.
You know what I'm saying? And
make noise.
And we talked about this too, and I leave this out because this is a staple. It was Luke and Two Live Crew versus the USA.
Yeah,
that was one of the most important things in hip hop.
Right.
And then we're probably very closely behind it.
Yes, I agree. Absolutely.
And the reason why I say with the Luke thing, because they really had to go to court and stand.
They did.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And they were strong and they won.
And they won. Right. That was a wild time.
And us, we didn't have to go all the way there because it picked up right before.
Right.
So, but to go to Florida A&M and me go sit with a class, I got to tell the story. It's funny.
Please.
I go to Florida A&M for Red Bull. Yeah. And the auditorium's full with kids. I'm supposed to show them how to DJ with Serato and things like that. So they're all gathered in there. And I'm waiting for the teacher to come out. And the teacher comes out and is Play from Kid and Play.
Oh, at that time too.
Right.
Okay.
And
damn.
I froze because me and my cousin tried to beat them our whole life.
Right. Facts, bro.
So when he's walking down, he looks at me, he's like, nah. We ain't gonna do that here. And he sees me, I'm like geek, like
he's like, no, stop.
Nah. So he was like, so I'm showing the class, but one of the things that's important and goes along with the raid is we open up the textbook. It's a music textbook. Our case is in the textbook.
In the textbook?
Yes, it was like Tupac something Arcase.
Wow.
What they're learning.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh shit, this really some shit. Like this is really in the hip hop.
Yes. Yeah.
Shit,
And just
right?
music history of cases.
Bro,
Like, yeah,
what
yeah.
fascinates me
That's crazy.
what fascinates me the most is that the mixtape survived.
Oh,
Like, Jesus
All
Christ.
survived. They just changed the game.
Yeah.
They no longer needed us. It was like Drake came out. The no DJ version.
Yeah.
It was like this person, the no DJ version.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But these were kids that had heavy artillery and fandom.
Heavy.
You know what I'm saying? So they could do that. But there was some that didn't. Cool Kids, Asher Roth, Currency, Dom Kennedy, Blue,
damn, Dom.
Pac Div. These were all kids that didn't get a chance. They were bubbling, but they wasn't going to get that recognition. So I QVC'd it and went there with it. And they appreciated a DJ version.
That's a fact.
You know
Can I say something about the Cool Kids? Shout out to you, even they here right now. I just want to let everybody know I'm in the presence of the Cool Kids, by the way. I'm a massive fan of them. Even when Mikey, was like, I'm Mikey Rocks and Chuck Things, like I'm Chuck Things. I was like, bro, I know who you are. I didn't say anything to them. I didn't want to fan out, but they changed my life. I'm gonna tell you why. At that time, I was in college, my first year of college. And I started hearing about these guys, Black Mags, Gold in the Pager. Like I started seeing them on YouTube with music videos. And I was confused because I was like, who they signed to? And I was like, what do you mean?
Yeah.
Like, how do they have music videos? It was a transition that I saw like, holy, like, how is this possible? So I've watched their journey for years and I've always followed them and they always inspired me because to me, I credit them with the first like independent kind of like crew that
was the blog era.
It was, right. It was, shit, even with them, they was like at the start of the blog era, like where I would get my stuff from Two Dope Boys, all them sites like Good, GMAD, I remember even Low Key had one, you heard that new, like Nicole Bitchy, like bro, they were so, like that era was so fun, and I will say it was a little gatekeepy, of course, but it was very curated, and I always trusted certain publications, like when it came to stuff like that. So, with that being said, you breaking artists and things of that nature, obviously you are also an executive. People should know this about you, and you broken some amazing artists, right? To say the least. Your label, let's start here first. You got a job at Def Jam from No ID. Can you explain how that happened with No ID and getting to the Def Jam thing?
So we had a mutual friend. He owned the Harold's Fried Chicken. It came down to Atlanta, and I would go over there, eat, and he would be like, bro, you talented. I'm going to give you some chicken. The same thing. Like I was broke, trying to figure it out.
Right.
He was like, bro, your aura remind me of No ID. That's my best friend, bro. I need to link y'all.
Right.
And I was like, oh, shit. What did I just step into?
Facts.
You know what I'm saying?
Right. You like,
he was like, bro, y'all remind me of each other. You remind me of a young Dion.
Okay.
I was like, oh shit, all right. We finally met each other. He was living in Atlanta. He was working with JD. And I think that by the time, this was some years past, by the time I kind of powered up on some like, I was moving around.
Right.
I called on me. I started saying, yo, come outside. He was just in his mode. He was just, you know what I mean? I guess settling into whatever he was trying to get into. And I was like, nah, come outside. And the first time he came outside, I came and picked him up, Escalade. We riding around, me, him, my cousin Keith. And I remember me just, I always talk shit. You know what I'm saying? I was like, bro, we gonna go get some clothes. You ain't got no clothes. You know what I'm saying? Put some clothes. Like, we gonna get some clothes. Right. So he was like, bro, dude be tripping. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. I talked so much shit to him. I said one time he popped out the crib, right? He had the yellow Corvette, the fur coat. He just
he went crazy,
buying everything.
Right.
Dolce & Gabbana hats.
Right.
And he was like, now what? You know
Right.
what I'm saying? And he was coming to the studio. We just, we built a relationship.
Right.
And he was like, we had this heart-to-heart one time. He's like, yo, Ye called me. He want me to come out to Hawaii and work with him.
Okay.
And I was like, do it. He's like, I am. He was like, once I was the teacher, now I'm coming the student. You know what I'm saying? So I'm going to go out there and learn and be in the mix and just help him do and be the best. You know, he's always selfless. So he's always trying to help somebody get to the next level. So what he did was he went out to Hawaii. They powered up. They did 808s and Heartbreaks.
Crazy.
He won all the Grammys. Right. And they had a goal in mind to go and do artists' whole albums. So they was out there doing that.
Right.
Just like going out there, they were going up to Justin, here go this, or there so and do all this. He came back after all that, came back to LA, and he called me like, yo, when you come back to LA, I want to show you what I got going on out here. I said, I'll fly out there now.
Right.
I get out there, he got Common in the studio, Rajon Rondo, Serena Williams was there at the time.
Wow.
A whole bunch of people. And he was like, yo, I got this kid. Like, he was working on Chris Brown. He was
going crazy.
Fire.
No, he was on fire. Yes,
he was on
for
fire.
Sure. Yes.
Anything and everything. He's like, yo, I got this kid that just signed to Kanye. We sitting in the studio. You know what I mean? He trying, but, you know, he ain't got no budget.
Right.
It happened to be Big Sean.
Wow.
And he was like, yo, I'm going to put y'all in the studio over there by the Beverly Center. See if you can come up with something, right?
Right.
God. Now I'm looking at him like, man, where's Chris Brown? I
I want to do these.
Yeah, like I did it, right?
Right.
Go to the studio. Sean has one room. I have one room.
Mm-hmm.
I'm in there making beats for Jeezy.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
I got it. Yeah.
I mean, Final Hour and a couple of them records.
Oh, wow.
And he wound up coming in and just sitting in the chair, just quiet. You know what I mean? Listening to me make beats. He was like, damn, that'd be hard. You making that for Jeezy? I don't know why in the world. I sat there and I was like, you can have it.
Okay.
And he was like, for real?
Because you're a nice guy. That's why you did. Because I'm a nice guy. That's it. He was like, you can have it.
So I gave him the record. So he
funny.
was here and we finally did Finally Famous. We
Wow.
grew up,
Right. Of course.
So Dion wound up taking a deal at Def Jam through Karen Kwok.
Okay.
He talked to Karen Kwok like, yo, dude's ear is nice.
Right.
You need to get with him.
Uh-huh.
She was like, I don't know, the resume, you know, it's still labeled. They got to figure out.
You got it. Right.
But he was like, bro, he
Politics.
broke everything in the street that y'all want.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So that's how it really happened. But my entry level was bringing them artists. First, I tried to tell them, yo, Rich Homie Quan.
Right.
And they didn't jump at it.
Right.
Wow.
So then I was like, ASAP Rocky. A friend of mine introduced me to Rocky way back and was like, yo, but by the time I called Rocky to get with him, he was like, yo, I already signed to Brian Leach, but my girlfriend is a free agent. And at that time, it happened to be Iggy Azalea.
Oh, wow.
And he wound up giving me a number from Australia. I called her a couple times. She had a record called Pussy.
That's
And I was trying to sign it. So I sent Dion and Karen Kwok an email. I still got it to this day at 2011. And and it was like, yo, we need to sign this girl named Iggy Azalea.
Right.
And it just didn't go like that. They wound up signing it later.
Sure.
But I just kept bringing things. Pat, Afeku, and P had the Migos. And they brought the Migos to Drum. I also tried to do it at Def Jam.
Right.
Couldn't get it going.
Right.
So we had to work. Dion had this system that he wanted to do with all of us. It was me, him, Sycamore.
Shout out Sycamore.
The interns.
Interns.
Tab,
Jesus.
which was with Jonte Austin and a couple other
Yeah.
guys. And he was like, yo, we're going to team do projects to where nobody gets in trouble if anything falls off.
Right.
So me and Sycamore did Jeremiah together. We did Dirk together.
Wow.
You know what I mean?
Crazy.
Me and Noah Preston, we did Logic and Big Sean together.
Yeah.
We did Tab did Alicia Carr.
Right.
And when you seen that double XL cover with the spread, that was all the artists we did. I'm leaving out YG, which is pivotal.
Crazy.
YG had been on Def Jam for a minute
Right.
with this guy named Max. And me and Sycamore pulled the whole play together. Like, you know, I brought Rich Homie Quan. I was trying to get him signed to Jeezy.
Right.
And I brought him to Patchwork and did My Nigga.
Right.
You know,
That shit.
so
I can't believe y'all figured out how to get that on the radio, by the way. I was like, oh shit, they figured it
So
out.
here's crazy. I never told this. When I took it to Def Jam, it was like, that's not going to work. There's no clean version.
Exactly.
I said, I'm a DJ.
You figure
I do clean versions for a living.
Right.
I hit up my
That, yo, bro, when I heard that shit around, I was like, holy shit. I think they did it. My mother was singing that shit.
Yeah.
The way Hit It became the clean word.
Wait a
for
second.
it.
You know what? The culture said, you know what? We need to stop saying it. We can say
Bro,
it.
let me tell you something about that situation. I never told this. This is only off record. We're at Patchwork. He's in the B room. Jeezy's in the main room. When I bring him to the studio, I'm bringing him to work with Jeezy.
Yeah.
YG just happened to be in town because they had moved him under Jeezy's brand.
Okay. Got you. Right.
Yeah.
So, so
I forgot what it's called. I know what you're talking about. Yes.
yeah.
That era.
So
yes.
the amount of hits that was in there that was sent. You had I'm Gifted.
Right. Yeah.
I'm still missing.
Yes.
Yeah,
Two
to the
Chainz.
With my
chain.
feeling missing.
Yeah.
With my feeling missing.
right.
Yeah.
I'm
That was
different.
playing it.
Different.
They were supposed to be doing that record. I
Yeah.
bring Rich Homie Quan in the room with Jeezy. And he like filling him out and talking to him. He's like, yo, you should do a record with YG. They in the other room, right? So I take Rich Homie Quan over there, Sycamore's there, we're all going, and Sycamore's there monitoring. I'm in and out the studio. When I come back, I know the beat's playing.
Right.
When I come back, Rich Homie Quan runs out the room, no shirt on. I did a hit. I got it. I said, oh, he did it. Right? He's going crazy. I go in there, and that was my nigga. Yo, this is
bro. That's a legendary.
And trust me, like everybody knows me. I was pro Rich Homie Quan. That was supposed to be
early in the game.
And I'm gonna go through it because I never told these stories too. And people know the situation that me and Drum had with Drake, right?
Of course.
So when we were moving through the raid, me and Drum were separated.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? We were talking shit to each other on mixtapes. Nobody knew.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Only y'all knew though. Right.
It was this kid named T Slack. T Slack was from Toronto. T Slack wound up calling me one day like, oh, I got this kid Drake. He want to work with you. And I was like, all right, cool. Come to Atlanta. They come to Atlanta. We try to get some synergy going I was working at Zach Studios. We riding around the city, being Drake, talking about his plans and stuff. And he had this little tape with Trey Songz, right?
Yes. Damn, it was that time.
And he was one of the guys that I was like, I want to sign him. And, you know, I was talking to T Slack about it.
Right.
And T Slack will fact check this. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
And me and Drake was just cool at that time and just trying to figure it out. He introduced me to a couple people that he knew. And I went from that to wanting to sign Wiz Khalifa. My bread wasn't up. You know what I'm saying? But I was trying to sign him.
Was this after the OG and Kush? Like, was it after that mixtape?
Before.
Oh, was it before?
Right before.
Damn, okay.
He was doing shows, like little shows.
Popping, right.
And Benji, which happened to be in his label at the time, was Rostrum Records.
Okay.
He was like, I don't know if you're ready for that, this, that, and the third, right? So I'm like, what you mean? I'm not ready. So I wind up, he was like, I got this kid named Mac Miller. So these are all the things that was happening, right? Asher Roth, me and Scooter Braun were tight. Close. We did parties together.
Right.
He brought Asher Roth.
Right.
We wound up getting that together. Right. But he also was like, yo, I got this young kid and Justin Bieber.
Right.
Justin Bieber was in the studio while we were making the Greenhouse and all this.
That's correct.
He was I got a video of us going to a Cool Kids Asher Roth show, and Justin Bieber is on my neck. He's playing the Game Boy.
That's fucking nuts.
Yeah, that way back, right?
Right. Wow.
I'm on the mix. He was like, bro, I can't let you do Justin Bieber. You don't know what to do with that. And I respected that.
I got it.
And I respected
got
that.
it. Right.
You know what I mean?
In hindsight,
and he went to Usher and did his thing.
Right.
He was like, I do have something for you. He brought me Mike Posner.
Wow.
Right? I worked with Mike Posner. And that was the first thing I went all the way through to sign because he had this record. That record was huge.
Yes, the Cool record. Yes.
And I remember being at a basketball game and he called me like, yo, bro, I think I'm going to sign with Jay-Z and them, all that. Hurt.
I bet.
Hurt.
I can imagine.
So I was going through all these ramifications. I was starting to look and I saw Rich Homie Quan. He was at Fly Kicks. And I was talking to Ebony. I was like, yo, I got to sign him, bro. He's dope. And she was like, he's dope as hell. And I started building a relationship with him, It just didn't happen and then Fly wound up, Fly Kicks is Fly, which is TTG, right?
Okay.
TIG, I'm sorry. And they wound up being a little situation, but I was always looking for something in that era, but I was a part of all that stuff because they called me the Pop, you know what I mean? Popovich of the blog.
Okay.
Because I was doing all of their tapes.
Right.
You know, Rajiv and everybody, I was doing all those tapes. I tried to sign Dom Kennedy, right? I said, yo, what is going to take us to, do a partnership or whatever? He sends me $7 signs. I said, bro, I don't got that.
Yo, bro, take it easy, bro. Yo, sending you dollar signs is wild. That's wild.
But this is all the stuff that I really never told, and that's the background. Like, I've never talked about Drake coming down and us trying to build some synergy. Chasing Cash had talked about it. He talked about how I introduced him to Drake. And Hit Boy and them, I met them very early. I mean, I was helping them do stuff. You know what I'm saying? So it was a lot of that I was trying to figure out, and then going into the Def Jam shit, it was just like, I never scored. They wouldn't let me sign none. So I worked with what was in the house. Until No ID was like, yo, I'm gonna introduce you to these kids. They about to fly in. It was Reese and Dirk. And Young Chop. And what I liked about them was they came to ID Studios. So me and Dion, we huddle up. And it's so what are we gonna do with these kids? This, that, and the third.
And they was kids at that time.
He was like, he was like, we're gonna fill him out. His man Jay Boogie that they said on Lamborghini Mercy,
Yeah.
J Boogie, right? He brought them.
Okay.
Okay.
Wow.
So we're in there, we're talking. It's like, let's just go in there and meet them. This is how we were sold. We walked in a lounge where they were supposed to be chilling.
Yeah.
They had set up the FL and the
Yeah.
microphone in the corner and were recording songs. Waiting for us.
It said sign
That's
right.
on,
No,
that's
real
on my
shit.
dad's grave.
Yeah.
Vert and Reese were in there recording songs. Right then and there,
Right.
we formed a bond.
Wow.
Me and Dirk was cool ever
After
since
that,
then, bro.
that was it.
That's
And me and
wild.
Reese was cool.
Right.
Reese was still like, he was a general.
Sure.
So he was like doing his thing.
He was reserved.
And
He was a little
Dirk
more
was
reserved.
just like zeroed in on it.
Yeah.
Right.
Like Dirk, like people don't know about Dirk. Like all the music he make, he was zeroed in
Right.
on music.
Right.
And we built a bond, and he just came around, we come to the studio, just sat,
Right.
learn, and that's when things started.
Right. And from here, right, I'll say this. So I say you made, let's go to a really big signing. Can you tell me how you were driving around, you were listening to the radio?
Wait, I gotta cut you off. I know where you're going.
Come on.
Let me get
Come on, bro.
Bro, no, I gotta. Let me hold this one.
This is perfect. It's so perfect.
Let me hold this.
Go ahead. I'm gonna let you go.
He was already down the
Yo,
street.
Cannon,
I was
Cannon,
on the
Cannon.
street. I opened the radio.
I no.
You're going, it's like when you're a man about to, look, bro, I
No,
was about to,
you got it,
you say, yo, bro, nah, bro.
Go to top
Hey, bro,
out.
JR Smith.
Time out. I'm like, bro, I'm about to help.
Answer JR
Go ahead,
Smith.
go ahead. You J.R. Smith me. I ain't
Hey,
gonna lie.
Cannon.
Just remember this moment. I had it. Go ahead.
I always say it on the pod, I grew up in a Christian Haitian household.
Wow.
Cannot bump nothing outside of Kirk Franklin and maybe a Wycliffe.
That's a fact. Maybe a Wyclef record.
All right, so we move out to the suburbs. I'm in a white school, and for the first time in like 7th grade, I go to my first house party. It was because it was my homie across the street, so I just dipped out the crib, right? I walk in, and for the first time ever, I hear Erase Your Social.
Holy smoke.
Nigga, I said, what am I listening
Listen to. I'm not supposed to listen to this.
And from there, I knew we was late because I knew there's no way they on this, and it's a bunch of white kids. There's no way they on this, and the streets don't know. How do y'all find, like, I know you telling the story. I would love for you to tell that story of how you run into Lil Uzi Vert.
So let me.
I know what you
Got you. Cool. Nice preface. You know, you're about to go crazy. Hold on a second. So the reason why I want to start this way is because DJ Diamond Cuts.
Yeah.
Yep.
You heard Uzi through her playing it on the radio.
Yep.
So I want to start there, and I want you to help us understand like how you discover Uzi and kind of like in that moment in as far as everything is concerned.
All right, so this is exclusive. You're going to get a lot of clips for this.
Oh, you know,
You're going to get a lot of clips for this. This is stuff I never told.
Okay.
Well, I don't think I did.
Okay.
You know, sometimes you got to fact check this.
Yeah.
So I want to give you the story because how the soil is laid is the best part of the plant, right? During the time of me trying to bring Rich Homie Quan and all these things to Def Jam, people looked at me as a suit. I was so cool, but when I went to work for the company, I became a suit. And, you know, No ID is like, yo, I know how it feels. It feels like you're walking around with a circle of piss. Nobody wants to touch you, right? And I was like, yeah, that's how it feels. Like the people that I once was cool with, they still cool with me, but it's distance. It's like, I can't tell you too much. You're a suit now.
Let's go on the other side.
And I've never experienced that. I was always, yeah, I tell you everything, you the man.
Shit.
And I was like, bro, I gotta get in the streets and do some shit. Like, you know what I'm saying? So what I did was, I was cool with this kid named Sujit. Sujit ran Scam Artists. He had all the biggest DJs. He put them in residencies across the nation. So when I signed a Scam Artist, he got me a Houston gig, Dallas gig, Vegas, LA, Atlantic City, Miami.
Okay.
So I had residencies here.
Sure.
So I was going to these places maybe 2 or 3 times a month, whatever. I think me and Justin Credible were like the youngest acts there. Lil Jon was already there.
Right.
A bunch of DJs that were popping.
Yeah.
And we would just, you know, flop. You know, Justin would do Vegas, then I would come do Vegas.
Okay.
Anyway, fast forward, I was doing a gig, one of my residencies in Atlantic City. I stop in Philly always, kiss my mom, get a chicken steak, head to Atlantic City. I'm on the way driving Atlantic City. I turn the radio on just to hear what Philly was talking about. And Diamond Cuts is in the mix. and this is important because they bashed me for like 3 years about this shit, so I'm gonna bring it back. But Diamond Cuts is playing on freestyles on the radio. I caught the Uzi one. Something was very distinct about this kid's voice that messed me up. I was like, yo, what was this? Right? So I'm like, call the radio. I'm like, Diamond Cuts, what is that? She's like, this kid from Uzi from New York North that I be messing with. He dope. I said, I need to meet him. He's dope. She was like, all right, when you come to Philly, let's meet him. Let me tell you, me and Diamond Cuts history before that. He was already in something we started to call the Academy, which is like it's like a branch off of the affiliates.
Okay.
But also I DJ'd for Miss Jade, which was signed to Timberland.
Timberland, right? Yeah.
And when I couldn't do it no more, I met Diamond Cuts early at a 14-year-old age.
Oh, wow.
She was nice.
Right.
And I felt like her and Miss Jade would be great because they're women.
Right.
They understand each other and things like that. And me just moving around, I'm doing so many different things. I felt like I was neglecting Jade a little bit.
Okay.
You know what I mean? So I was like, yo, Diamond Cuts, you should be her DJ. Right?
You connect.
And then she became the DJ.
Okay.
So that's the history.
Okay.
To bring it back to speed, I always had the relationship with her. Right? I come back to Philly after my gig. I come meet Uzi. So they go, she had the studio, her and this dude Buzzworthy had a studio manny up. I go see him. Uzi's in the studio and they always clown me because I said it looked like a dungeon. You know what I'm saying? But it was downstairs, very dark, small studio.
We know the vibe.
He's in there with his hoodie. He's in the corner. You know what I'm saying?
That sounds about right.
And I'm hearing these records and he's just crazy. I'm like, yo, what's up? And he's real Philly. As far. He's just on this. You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, oh, he's not really interested or he ain't really trying to talk or he just on some Philly shit. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I still left and was like, I told them, I was like, yo, I love the kid, bro. I'll do whatever to work with him. If we want to start with a mixtape, however you want to do it, I love to do it. I go back to Atlanta. He winds up calling me. Yo, man, I know who you are, what you do, bro. Like, you gonna sign me or what?
Straight up.
I said, oh, shit. Okay.
Right.
So I was like, yo, let's just start doing mixtape first. He was like, all right, I'm already working on something called The Real Uzi. He was like, just host my shit. I was like, all right. I bring him to Atlanta after I do that. No phone, no nothing.
Right. You bought him a cell phone, didn't you?
I did. He comes to Atlanta. They drive down. I think on the way down, their windshield gets cracked or something like that. Okay. So I'm just like, I'm feeling like, damn, they came down here. They just willing it. Just, I hope I get to a point where I'm not selling them no hope. Like, just like some bullshit, like I'm giving them wolf tickets. Comes down, I'm like, yo, you should stay down here. You shouldn't go back to Philly, bro. It's too much. Like, I would hate for you to go back to Philly, get in some trouble and be over with. It's like, nah, I gotta go home. And I figured out he loved clothes so much, he wanted to go home and pack a bag and come back. So I was like, well, how I want to get in touch with you? He was like, I don't got no phone. I went and bought him a phone. You know what I'm saying? Like, yo. So he went home, got his bags, he wound up coming back down. One of the things that made that so cool was not only at a young 18, 19-year-old moving to Atlanta and didn't know nothing, he trusted it. I don't know if he read human beings a certain way and was like, oh yeah, I'm good with them.
I'm going.
They cool.
Right.
I had already talked to Drum and was like, yo, we should do it again. Like, we should, like, I found some kid. He's like, Drum at the point was like, all right, cool, I don't give a fuck. Let's do it, bro. Whatever. We can name the label, whatever. Came up with the name, of course. But what was cool was when he came down, he was like, listen, I'm gonna tell you before we start working, bro, I know everything. He was like, you didn't think I'm just on some rapping shit. I know who Flyleaf is. I study Marilyn Manson. I know how to do music for real. I'm gonna fuck him up. That let me know, like, oh, he's the artist that's not gonna be rebellious in music. We could go places with music that nobody's ever gonna reach because he's not gonna be the normal hip hop dude that's like, no, I ain't trying that. He tried everything. At least he tried it. And he was like, yo, you fix it. He'll rap on it like, I don't care, fix it.
Fix it. Make it, do what you gotta do.
Do whatever.
Yeah.
It's like, but he tried it.
Wow.
And I was like, that was special. It was like, bro, he at least trying whatever.
Wow.
So when you talk about things like Erasure Social, this us trying shit. Wow. That was like you never heard no do.
I ain't gonna lie, that was a monumental shift in hip hop for me personally too, just because even just me just growing up and just like, oh, to me, that was the first, he was the first artist I was like, oh shit, this is the new generation.
Yeah.
Like for me, like at my age, like and stuff like that. So for you, this is like his like, you know, coming into like, oh, like this is what we kind of jack as far as your generation. But that's I feel like Uzi was of such an identity marker for a generation, like of just stuff to come, like even just like everything that just kind of came from that. Like I remember at that time just seeing that generation and saying to myself, like, damn, we got Yachty, we got like that whole era just started to come to fruition.
He was also the first. This is two eras. Damn, I'm leaving out two things. One was my DAW era, DAW era, because I was heavy. You know, I was doing no analog shit.
Wow.
You know?
Right, you just I
dived in because his work ethic was so fast.
You had to
keep up. I had to use the DAW to keep up. You know what I'm saying?
Straight in the box.
So that was one thing. The second thing was he was the first rapper that I had to tell shut the fuck up. Because we would go to like South by Southwest and he would go in the crib that we rented to be down there moving around. And he would be at the table rapping for 5 hours. Never stop. I'd be like, yo, shut the fuck up, bro. Just don't stop rapping. He was at the table just, yo, anything. He'll stop for a second and we'd be like, yo, let's go get some chicken or something. Chicken, something. And I'm like, no, shut the fuck up, bro. You keep rapping. We got him on video freestyling 17 minutes straight.
Wow.
See what I'm saying? And it was like, oh, I get it. That's why I called you Uzi, because you just keep going.
Yeah.
So those eras right there, I'm just like, oh shit, that's what made it special.
Right.
And the DAW era was like, I had to keep up with that. I didn't have, he would never shut up. So I'm like, bro, I gotta have enough beats for him to shut the fuck up.
Like, yo, get on this, go over there. It's like feeding a kid, like, yo, go over there.
Later years, he was like, bro, you don't work fast enough. You ain't give me, and that's how I was giving him 20 beats.
Right.
I would be in a session, here go 10. He'd be like, bro, I need more, bro. You slow as shit, bro. What the fuck?
What the fuck are you talking about?
Like,
shout out Ben Thomas too, because I know Ben Thomas is into that. Shout out Ben.
Yeah, we ran Ben in the ground.
I know y'all did. Like, that's all I'm thinking about him. Shout out Ben.
I'm sorry.
He knows he's a good friend and he talks about you all the time.
Even in that, like because I feel like from 13 to 17, it was such a sudden sound change, whether it was in the drum kits or in the sound selection, even just the weird shit you said, yeah, I was just trying shit. How was it either figuring out that sound or damn near creating it and adapting to it, especially coming from where you came from?
It was good for me because I was like, yo, hits.
Yeah.
It was like, bro, I have to match his hits. I can't give him battle beats.
Yeah.
I have to match him with the hits. We created that sound.
Yeah.
And people can get on the internet and argue. We created that sound. Kodak wasn't rapping. He was rapping in his own way. He wasn't rapping on them beats.
Yeah, at all.
21 wasn't rapping on them beats. Yachty had his own stuff. You know what I'm saying? Cardi came a little bit after.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But we came out of an era where it was like Carnage did the first record for Uzi.
Yeah.
But you understand, EDM was going out.
Yeah, pop. So it
was going out. Money Longer was like the EDM into hip hop.
Sure.
Yeah.
So that's where we started just kind of like, right now we're like, oh, what they don't have is melody no more. We're going melody, but not just the doom, doom, doom. We're going to go chord melody.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, you know, some of them chords in the records were churchy.
Yeah, literally.
Like, it gave you a feeling. And that's why them kids just became fans, because it was like, they don't know the feeling that they're getting.
Yeah.
We're just implementing like chords and stuff like that. And it's like, yo, EXO Tour Life, bro. What is that? You know what I'm saying?
Leslie mixed that. Leslie did Leslie do that one?
So I mixed the first one.
Oh,
Leslie mixed the second one.
Okay.
Keisha Lee mixed the final one, but then I came back and did one that went on radio, and people hated the ad-libs. So we went back to the demo, and that happened to be Keisha's demo.
Wow.
So Leslie got the plaque and everything for it because he made the and by the way, KY Engineering did a mix.
Wow. Shout out KY.
Yeah.
Okay.
And
Meek and all them.
Colin Leonard. That was the first time I used Chris Atlas my whole career. Rest in peace. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I used him my whole career from Jeezy 2005 on. This is the first time Leslie called me and was like, yo, if we're going to go to mastering with this, we should try this kid Colin, bro. He been getting his chops up.
Wow.
He was working under Glenn Schick and all these people. He was like, you should try him. I believe, and I may be wrong, Colin, I think that was his first big mastering situation. I might be wrong.
Wow.
Because I don't know, but
got it.
I think at that time, it was like one of the biggest
records
for that time.
Right.
And it was the Colin Leonard. So whatever got mastered, it could have been Leslie's version,
Right.
Keisha's demo version,
Right.
or my version.
Wow.
And KY has a version out there floating.
That's crazy. So that's like such a toss up of like Russian roulette. Like we'll get that mix. Like really.
Leslie's my OG,
Sure.
and one of my closest friends.
Of course.
Yeah.
KY is one of my closest friends that, you know, we people since way back.
Right.
Right. And then Keisha was the engineer.
Right.
But I also was mixing. So it was like Uzi was in a space was like, nobody touched my shit but you.
Okay.
But I was smart enough to be like, when like songs like Erase Your Social and Sauce It Up came out,
Right.
I took him to it was Top was the first record.
Okay.
I took him to Leslie's studio. It was like, this is Leslie Brathwaite. Sit in this seat and listen to the mix. He was like, nah. I said, listen to the mix. And he heard it for the first time. He said, well, shit. He was like, you fuck with him, I fuck with him. Let's go. You know what I'm saying? So that was that period. But I want to say that we created that sound for that time period because we had a lot of people to come after, and I can't name names. Because, you know.
But I know, but I'm very aware.
Yeah,
yes.
we created a sound and people were looking for
religious
years.
No. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Like I said, it marked the whole generation for me. Like, okay, this is the new. Like,
after I saw a post, I forget, maybe Producer Grind posted it, I don't remember, but it was from a while ago. And it was just like the most searched type beats ever. And it was Future and it was Uzi.
Wow.
And thinking of how long after Uzi came, from Future to see that he was 1 and 2, it's like, Jesus.
Yeah, it's crazy. That's why you were talking about gatekeeping because at that time, I couldn't give that sound to nobody because we weren't ready to move away from it.
Got it. So it's like, I'm sorry, I can't give you that. And I know you can ask for like crazy, like, yo, let me get some beats. Like, Uzi's like, I can't do that.
But there was a couple people we gave the flow to because they were coming to the studio. But when Uzi was popping, we had everybody. Sauce Walker was there. He'll tell you.
Wow.
Gunna was there. Gunna wasn't even. He was in Uzi's first 2 videos.
Oh wow.
People don't even know.
No, I didn't know that.
Yeah, Gunna's there.
He was around.
Yeah, Gunna was there.
Right.
Yachty's there.
Right.
Thug's there.
Yeah.
The producers. I brought Metro.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Oh, crazy.
Southside.
Shout out Southside.
TM.
88. Shout out TM.
Cino.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I brought G Herbo.
Yeah, I've seen you had. I didn't know you had stuff. Yeah, I didn't even know.
Mixtape.
Yeah, I know.
Early on.
Right.
Young Buck.
Right. I had no idea. Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Fazoland.
Wow.
I brought him there.
Right.
Dirk.
Right.
Anybody you could think of, Meek.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
With Kai.
Everybody's coming to the studio at the time. So if you're there and you're seeing us create, me and Molly Raw created a sound that TM is like, okay, I know how to help or implement that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So you know, okay, I see what y'all doing. Let me give my flavor of what y'all doing. Southside, you know what I'm saying?
And
Beethoven.
Sure.
Metro.
The list goes on and on.
Like people talk about industry shit.
Right.
He's not an industry little brother.
Right.
I know Metro. Like I met his mother first.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
She would allow him to come stay at my crib and make beats. She was like, take care of my son. You know what I'm saying?
Sound familiar, right?
Yeah.
Like,
you know what I'm saying? So these are all the people I brought into play that I trusted to make and carry the sound.
Right.
And they still didn't give that sound to nobody. You never heard 20 minutes on nobody else's shit.
Right.
You never heard another Exo Tour Life. Shout out to Tim. You never heard another Exo Tour Life ever.
Right.
You know what I mean? This is loyalty type shit.
It was.
We was all a click for one sound.
Right.
And that don't happen a lot because when you get a hot record, people try to give it to everybody. And these guys didn't. Southside Taylor made everything. When he came to the studio on my dad's grave, I asked him to make some beats. He was like, yo, give me a day in the studio, big bro. He gave me 60 beats.
Right there.
60 beats.
Right.
I also watched him make a beat without playing. You ever heard of that?
What do you mean?
Bro, Southside will come in there and just type shit on the computer. And at the end of him typing, he pressed play, it was a whole beat.
So he would never even play that shit. He
I know
was
that's
like, wow.
No, that's
Two people,
For sure. There's no
two
way it's
people I
not.
know do that. Go Grizz does it now. Go Grizz
Word.
like he's playing a video game. And at the end, he pressed play as a whole beat, bro. I never seen no shit like
You
that.
know that step sequencer that well?
No, because you're literally looking at it,
Yeah.
tick, 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 tick. I've seen it. I've watched Fritz, shout out Fritz, he's our in-house producer.
Yeah.
I've seen him produce Reason FL, and I'm just always just like, holy, like, it's wild to me.
But London, you know,
Yeah.
I don't want to forget nobody, but all these guys was
Mhm.
there. Right. I mean, just making beats. Bugs Ronan, very young bull.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
These are all people. There's Super Mario. All these guys I brought to the table because I knew that they stood for something.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? They stood, they was like high end all the way to, you know, Take Keith, rest in peace. I brought him at the end. And we had a synergy because he was a real dude. These guys I'm working with that was not thirsty.
Right.
Like, these not thirsty. Like, TM was not thirsty. These guys came in and gave us everything, bro. And we figured it out. We ain't had no money. We overspent.
Yeah.
And niggas cussing us out. Dog, you ain't paying us. I'm like, bro, we're going to pay you soon.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, this kid going to be
He's going to be somebody.
great. And you know what I'm saying?
For sure.
So,
yeah.
you know, I'm just giving you energy that nobody else has heard from me. All these guys came and never gave away a sound. Like, and it's testing. You hearing these records. Again, you never heard of 20 minutes ever again.
Right.
On nobody album. Ferg didn't get the same beat. You know what I'm saying? I never gave nobody another Erasure Social. I never gave him another Money Longer. It just was what it was.
Right.
It was a time.
Yeah.
I will say this, and this is pretty much one of my last questions for you. With that being said, obviously Jack Harlow, right?
So that opens the
And when y'all start, forgot, huh? With Jack, and I know Drama is like the one that really like brought him to like inside the fold and stuff like that. To my understanding, when Jack came to y'all, this was like during the pandemic. Is that correct?
Yep.
Okay. And
A little bit before.
Okay. So how did that whole thing happen with Jack and stuff like that? Like, how did he get there? How did y'all decide, like, Jack?
Breaking him. Like, I know that took a little minute.
I'm gonna give you that whole thing. This is interesting, and I never told this. So, let me be all the way real. Coming out of the Uzi thing, it was a point where I was like, if it's got to be the next level, it's gonna be next level.
Got it.
When Drum gave me like the first couple records from KY to listen to Jack, he was rapping in the sense that I didn't like. It was like he was rapping with Scheme, which was on our other artist.
Yeah, okay.
And it was just like, it was, I don't want to say it was gangster, but it was just not like where I thought it was.
Check.
And his voice wasn't there. So I was like, I don't like this shit. You know what I'm saying? And Drum was like, you don't like that? I was like, I don't like this shit, but I'm down to take the meeting.
I'm hit.
If
Right.
anybody know, I'm gonna take the meeting.
Right.
I'm gonna take the meeting.
Right.
Right. And normally with me, I'm such a critic. That's always my first opinion, even if I don't hear it. It's like, I don't like it.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
Just on some dumb shit.
Yeah.
You know what I'm
I
saying?
don't like it.
When he brings him to the office to meet, his first conversation with us was so articulate.
Okay.
He was like, yo, I know where I'm going. I know I'm gonna be in 6 months. I know I'm gonna be in 18 months. And I got my own Metro with me. And it was 2 for 1 at the time, right?
Got it.
And he was like, I got this guy. He was like, this is my favorite movie. This is my favorite song. That's what I listen to. Dude was like,
just knew himself.
It was like, you already there.
Right.
So I'm like, of course we can do this. This is easy. And for me, that's when I was sold. You know what I'm saying? I was like, okay, I like him.
Right.
So then I got in the studio with him and he was like, he said some real shit. He was like, bro, I know you consume with Uzi. I know you consume with a lot of this stuff, but I'm sure we gonna make some shit. I was like, I think we gonna make some shit.
Yo, I ain't gonna lie. Who do you think gonna play Don Cannon biopic, bro? Like, who gonna play in the biopic?
You talking? I'm dead. I was literally, while he was telling the story about all the producers, I'm like, these are the stories that need to be immortalized.
Oh, for sure.
Like,
for real. Yeah.
But like seeing all of these,
bro.
Like,
so you're going to have
a God.
fucking field.
Oh, that's like an iPad down.
That's going to have a field.
Oh yeah, for sure.
So with him, we finally got to working, and he's putting out records. But the things that irked me the most, but was always our sweet spot. When we first brought Uzi to the record labels, they was like, can't get no purple hair dude to work.
Wow.
It worked.
Right.
This next one was like, y'all are bringing Napoleon Dynamite?
Yeah.
I hear what I'm saying?
Right.
That's
Like,
not
we
going to
just
work.
showed you,
He was like,
yeah.
yes. They would have told him he was going to be the biggest artist. They're like, oh, we doing it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So then it was like, man, we're going to wait. And hold on, I gotta bring something back.
Go ahead.
Around the Uzi era, Post Malone was there. We were supposed to sign him.
Wow. How did that slip? Not slip through, but you know what I mean.
So
Like,
I believe Post came. Posty might correct me on this. I think he already came from money. His dad like had some stuff going on, so they were looking for the right situation already. But he was around us, and it was right there to sign amongst a lot of other motherfuckers.
I'm sure.
21 Savage, we could have did that. We
Yeah.
could have did a lot of them. You know what I'm saying? But I'm going back to Jack. This is all I was thinking about. I was like, oh, y'all told me it wasn't gonna work. Oh yeah, it's gonna work now.
Facts.
Anytime somebody told us it was gonna work, it did.
right.
Every time they said that ain't shit, it worked.
It worked.
So that's what we were looking for.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So when Jack was making these records, we were actually introducing them to people like, yo, Chris Brown, this is gonna be the guy.
Wow.
You know, Chris liked to work with that. He's like, if it's dope, I'm fucking with
I'm
it.
fucking with it. Yeah.
And,
He's like,
and he got on the record. It was
Right.
too early for Jack. You know, he was showing up to shows and it was 5 people. We would show up to shows, it'd be 10 people.
Mhm.
And he stood it, he took a picture of it. He said, I feel it. I'm feeling that.
Right.
I feel one day I'm gonna have 10,000 people here.
Right. Right.
And he always reversed that. And I felt like that was special, bro. Like you actually, it was okay going on the stage of 5. Some people be like, man, I'm not going out there. Ain't nobody here. He actually felt it. He rocked for the 5 people.
That's
He
right.
rocked for the 15 people, the 100 people, the 300 people,
Uh-huh.
the 500 people. And that made him special. And that's why we love the journey with him, because he faced every obstacle it could ever be.
Right.
But it came to pandemic, he made his biggest record, What's Poppin'.
Yes.
He couldn't tour because of the pandemic. That's how
Yeah.
you support a record. He couldn't tour.
And it's still, yeah.
He
Right.
couldn't tour.
Right.
People don't understand that. He couldn't support his record. It went 6 times platinum.
It bang. It bang, my
Like-
friend. And that's the first one, by the way.
No.
Because that's not even talking about first class and stuff like that.
No.
You know what I mean?
Do you remember the story?
Hmm.
The first time I ever went to LA, I went with you.
Yeah.
We ended up in the first studio we ever went to. The first session we went out there was at
Westlake?
Westlake.
Yeah.
We were with Tone. We had done this session. We were in there for a day. We'd done a record. And I'm like, yo, this is crazy. With Michael Jackson studio. I'm 18, 19. I'm like, oh my God, what's the hell's going on? As we're walking out, I see Jack. I'm like, oh my God. He going in the same room right after we was done.
Okay.
And I think Nicky John was, I might be wrong.
Yeah.
We walk out. I'm like, yo, it's crazy. I just met Jack. Whatever, cool.
Right.
I feel like the next day on TikTok, I saw them previewing First Class.
That's
I'm
right.
like, yo, this shit hard. They just made
They
this.
just made it. Yeah, we've been walking like he did it that day.
And then that
Must be
video
that
goes
day.
crazy. I
Yeah.
think a week later the record comes, and I'm like,
Wow.
the fact that something can be like, to see that be made, not be made, of course, but
But just in general.
happen in real
I
time.
didn't get
I'm
a
like,
chance to
what
tell this. I'll tell you this.
Mhm.
Nikki, this is crazy. He might be mad at me for this.
Shout out
This is
Nikki,
a true
though.
story.
Shout out Nikki, though.
Shout out to Nikki, right?
Yeah.
Nikki was an intern at our studio.
Yeah.
Right? I was looking for an engineer. So I told TC and Royce, I was like, yo, I need an engineer. And he's like, yo, work with the dude Nikki. But I'm so self-sufficient.
Yeah.
By the time I gave him a drive, I was like, yeah, you're gonna be my engineer. But this how they always would tell us with the with the interns. The interns would rat on the other interns, like, yo, have you heard Nikki's stuff? I was like, no. He's a star in Disney. And I was like, what? They showed me this video of him performing in front of a crowd and they're going crazy. It's like a cute child, right?
That is random.
Bro, it's like the child star was like, oh yeah, he's not an intern no more.
Yeah.
He's gonna work with me.
Right.
That's my God. Like, he already knows what's
That's
going
cute.
on. He
Right.
loves the music. Right?
Right.
So I didn't have enough work for him. So by the time we brought Jack around, he started engineering for him more and more.
Yeah.
He had an opportunity to go to LA, which he wanted to live in LA at the time, I believe, to work with Young Berg. And he came to me and he was like, yo, Young Berg's gonna pay me to go work in Cali and be an engineer and stuff like that. And Young Berg's my guy, so I didn't want to hate on him. I was like, yo, you're gonna make a big mistake. This kid, Jack Harlow, is gonna be the biggest rap star in 2 years. I'm begging you to stay here.
Yeah.
Listen to me. It's gonna be the biggest thing and the biggest decision you make in your life.
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Right.
I'm glad he took my word.
That is
No, for
scary.
real.
I'm shocked.
I'm glad he took my word for him.
Shout out to him for like, all right,
Glad
I
he took me.
believe
He
you.
stayed with him. And you know, Jack was like working on it too. And I think Jack at the time was like, yo, can you talk to Nikki, man? I think he's getting ready to dip.
Right.
And I was like, I talked to him and I was like, yo,
That's the one.
it's gonna be this. I'm telling you,
It's gonna be a one.
and not that you're not gonna be with Jeremiah, Chris Brown. You're gonna make great hits.
Right.
I'm telling you, stick with one situation. And I had to talk to Nikki like 3 or 4 times, bro.
Wow.
Like 3 or 4 times. Like, I'm telling you, bro.
Yeah, that's
I'm telling you, bro.
Right.
And he'll probably come up here and tell you the story. But that's
For
like,
sure.
I believe that was the turning point. So all these things are happening at one time.
Right.
He's part of history.
Right.
Jack's making songs that like he didn't tour. He didn't get to do La Rollin' Loud. He didn't get to do nothing. 6 times platinum off the rip.
Huge.
You know what I'm saying? Then he came back and did the other joint with Tyler Hero.
Yeah.
Then he came back with First Class.
That's a fact.
Then he kept doing it, bro. And it was like, oh, he's rolling.
Right. Right.
And that's what we know what we're doing.
That's a
It's
fact.
all real synergy. It's not a masterful thing like we're the greatest A&Rs or the greatest executives ever.
Right.
It's just the conviction that these guys gave us. We knew what
You make it happen, yeah.
they're going to try until they can't go no more. It's
Right.
going to keep going. And that's what we got out of those guys, bro.
I will say this, and just to kind of wrap on this, I love that people are getting an opportunity, right, to see your fight and your plight through the music side, right, but also seeing your fight and plight with all the accolades of your music in the executive side, right, where you still got to fight, like, to prove yourself. Like, no matter where you are in this life, it always feels like once you step into a new arena, no matter what you did before, in this arena, you got to prove yourself. And I think that with those 2 artists, minus, of course, all the other artists that you are a part of and kind of like fighting to get through the door, I'm glad that you were able to take us through that, because I feel like a lot of people don't know behind the scenes of all the other stuff you touch. And then the very last thing I want to just have you just give me a quick thing on is the Tomorrow Network.
Yes,
Like, after all we talked about.
we definitely got to talk about
Can I,
that.
JR?
This is more than just the last
Because I got yeah.
Okay.
In 2022,
A new arena.
one of the first, the first time I ever heard of Tomorrow Network. I told this on the pod before too. 2022, I got invited for the first time to the Sony camp.
Yep.
And this is right after What's Poppin'. And you go up and you're like, yo, this is my label. This is who we got signed. Da, da, da. I think Kai probably just got there.
Yeah.
And you're
Shout
like,
out
we
Kai.
look for beats, we looking for this, that. By the way, there's this app, y'all should download it. Da, da, da. It's my new, and we didn't get it, but I still have it on my phone.
He told me about it.
And to see years later what it's become, I would just just tell us that journey, please.
So again, it started with my wife. She was like, yo, she had this friend that was a fashion designer, and she couldn't stay in her field. So she had to work DoorDash to make money to be able to be the stylist. And she was styling everybody.
Right.
She was making money.
Right.
So she wanted to figure out something like, yo, how do we give back to the community of the creatives to help them stay in work? There's like Thumbtack, there's TaskRabbit. How we can make one of those for creatives where they can stay in their field?
Right.
Because people will be on Instagram, they'll always be on some like getting ghosted.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Not getting paid,
Sure.
showing people their work, and people just tripping.
Yeah, or
You know what I'm
whatever.
saying? So
yeah.
we like, we got to eliminate all that. We got to take the social media aspect out of it and let people get back to work. So we started making an app. We got some people on it. It was moving like 1,700 people on the app, but it wasn't fully functional. You know what I mean? And I ran through the first people I got to do it. They took $60,000 and ran.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Second people charged me $300,000. You know what I'm saying? Just to do it.
Right.
So what I'm doing it is like I'm moving at a pace where I'm making a creative synergy with this app, but it's not yet the Uber. It's not yet the Postmates. It's not yet this. I'm like, how do I get it to there?
Right.
Tell the story. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
You're the creative. Be the creative for the creative.
Right.
You know what I mean? So that's what I started doing. I started telling these stories, and I didn't know how to do it other than me moving around and talking about it on camera. I was like, bro, I need an asset. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
What's the asset? So I'm like, okay, the asset is me showing people the mind of a producer.
Right.
Right?
Right.
So I started with myself.
Yep.
And I mean, I started breaking down my stuff. Well, not breaking down, remaking it.
Yes. I remember those. Yes.
From scratch.
Right.
And that was the opposite of all the breakdown shows on the actual internet.
Yeah, literally.
The second part to it was, I'm of the culture.
Yeah.
Instead of
literally.
people showing you what Metro Boomin did, I got Metro Booming doing it for you.
That's a fact.
You know what I'm saying?
Nice.
So that's what I was trying to do. The first two are mine. And I was like, let me start reaching out to my buddies.
The homies, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So I called Cool and Dre.
Yeah.
I called Bink.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
I was watching you. I was like, yo, I know what he's doing. We're gonna smoke this. And somebody watching this. That's why I wanted you to take us through this, because I watched you from the very beginning. I knew what you were doing. And that's why even, obviously, PBC mentioned like 2023, where we started to have some communication, because I was so aligned with your like whole ideology and philosophy of what you were doing and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So now to see it where it is, as far as the content, it's the go-to producer like content for me now. Like there's so many legendary just moments and clips and things that we've all learned, like even the heat makers, like certain things took me back, like, oh shit, like when he was remaking the beats and stuff like that. So I love that I really, really appreciate that you're doing it. Let me say love. I really appreciate that.
I appreciate that. So
yeah.
I'll give you the rest and I won't be long-winded with it. So with the producers, I was like, yo, I have to take this so far from where people are willing to go. So I'm like, podcasts, people don't have the access to go state to state and go to people's studios or go to where they actually remade the actual beat.
Yes.
So I'm gonna go that far. I'm gonna be Anthony Bourdain.
Yes.
I'm gonna go so far with this show. I'm going to the studio that Cool and Dre was at. We're gonna remake the beat from scratch, and we're gonna talk about why and what happened in that era.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So I'm going state to state. I went to Seattle to go see Jake One. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I couldn't have, yo, Jake, just come to Atlanta.
Yeah, no,
I have to go there.
Yeah.
In their space.
In their space. I went state to state to get all this stuff. So people saw different studio environments, different equipment, different minds. Why the cookie was on the couch. Why the pillow was over there. Why the blunts were here. Everything is working in there. Now you're in the mind of the producer. So now we're getting to more things. We have Women of Tomorrow, which Women of Tomorrow is teaching women's health, because that's what women think about. If you think about women, they're always talking about two things: trying to get in shape, trying to do this. Let's focus on that, healing. Now you got them doing that. So now I'm just breaking new shows, and people probably gonna steal my ideas. I wanted to do Barcode, which is like, that's my artist version of the producer. Go to bars in different countries and different cities and sit at the bar and we drink and talk about bars.
Damn, that's
you know.
Hold that down.
Don't worry, I'll edit it. I'll edit that and hold it.
I mean, there's a couple people that's doing it now.
That's fine.
But I'm saying you have to go to the bar and do it.
Yes.
So then I have time management, which I'm going with executives, and you have to answer questions within it. Time management. Get it?
My God.
So it's stuff like that. Now I just dropped Spin Cycle.
Yes.
Spin Cycle is the DJ. So now you're doing this shit. So these are all the stories I'm trying to tell. So the creatives understand that we're with you.
Yes.
Me sitting with you and you guys was so important, because now I'm in a space of people that know everything down to the very RCA wire, to the DAW, to executive, to artists. You're an artist. You're a writer artist. I don't know what you do, but you're on 12. You're on 12. You know what I'm saying? And these are the things. And this is why I don't gatekeep on those ideas, because if you steal Barcode, I got something else. I got conversation. I'm brewing something with Ron Calvis. I don't know if you know him. He's one of the major sample clearance guys. He goes on a show and he talks about sample clearance.
Oh yes.
And that show was shot, so you can't copy that.
Yeah, you can't. But he looked at me like, you're good, buddy.
So Tomorrow Network turned it to, and everybody's like, oh, it's media, it's great. Media is education.
Yes,
literally. I mean, I'm not the camera guy, but I'll get on it for the creative.
And you do well.
Yeah.
You do
And
really
it's,
well, man.
and
Like,
it's comfort, because I've seen campers sit, we could say with us versus sitting with you, like there's real camaraderie there. Like,
yes.
Yeah.
And that's the camp, like the camper that sat with us, it was still camp. Don't get it wrong, but
cool.
it was
right.
I don't know, y'all two, it's the interview style.
Sure.
Camp sat with you and then with Camp done.
Yeah.
And most people
He
behind
walked
the
out
scenes,
too. He walked out.
most people behind the scenes, aren't comfortable.
Yes.
But they're comfortable with somebody from the culture.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
But that's why you do it, I would just like, no one's gonna get like better from those people than you. Cause they're like, it's my man's. He knows exactly what I've been through. Actually, we made shit together.
Yeah.
So when you talking to them like that, and I like how, let me say this, what doesn't get said. You do it from such a humble approach
Yes, sir.
where you don't, if no one knew who you was, they'd be like, who the fuck is this guy interviewing him? You don't bring up, it's like, you don't talk about yourself. Like, you just be like, so how you did it? You're curious. And that's what always is striking to me with an interview is the curious cat. Like the person, if the interviewer is curious, I know that's all you need. So just so to wrap on this, I want to say kudos to you for just everything you've done, your illustrious career, but also where you're headed. I'm like still obviously super excited for what you have. And also, I'm extremely grateful of how you've supported us and just always like, you know what I mean? Like just always just like, yo, this is dope. Like I personally, I speak for myself, I really appreciate that. Just you supporting us. And you don't need it, but man, you got our support, you know, throughout.
Directly, but even
I definitely need support.
directly and indirectly, of course, with what you did for the pod. But like, I know what Jack's music does to him. I told you what that Uzi ran. Like, Ben is my engineer. I'm never leaving Ben. Like,
that's our
Ben mixes everything for me. You know what I mean? And it's just like, even in the network, and I say this all the time, and that's why I had a convo with him. I'm gonna make this super short, but I had a convo with him. I always. Every time, like I literally, he sat me down. He's like, all right, what is this you're played for? Like, what you talking about? I was like, all I want to do is make music. I've always been that person. I just want to make good songs. And I sat with him. I was just like, I realized I would love to create like on a storytelling front, period. That's why when you walked in, I was like, bro, we got to talk. Because I want to immortalize the shit I love. Like immortalizing these stories. That's why I love your show so much. I hate when we always wonder, damn, what happened with this record or this record, and it's like these people aren't here to speak about it no more. But
it started out for us.
Yeah.
But when you see people's parents that have never did music or don't care, and they're watching, they're like, man, I love that song. You know what I'm saying?
And now I get a story about it.
Yeah. Shout out to Ben. I'm gonna have him on the show because
please.
You know, I did Doro. I did
shout out Doro. That's my man's.
I did more engineers, and I want to get that in there because it's important. But Ben is also a reflection of me. When I was in there, we was giving him such a hard time. And Just Wanna Rock came out.
Yeah.
He was getting me stems to mix it. And I was like, why you giving me these stems, bro? He's like, yo, you gonna send the mix, right? I said, you're gonna mix it.
He told us that.
He told us that story.
He said, what? I said, it's your mix, bro.
Yep.
And right then and there, he knew I gained his trust because it was like, Cannon would normally mix this or give it to somebody to mix.
Yeah.
And I'm a fan of whoever's in there with the studio day by day, giving the energy. They're mixing the records. They're gonna get good at it. And I'm gonna go out there and let you shoot the three.
And
I could have easily mixed it,
of course,
but I knew it. And the theory to it was it wasn't a hard record to mix, so I didn't want to put him in too much pressure. What he felt like, fuck, man, it was just enough. It was like, hey. It's still got to be grimy, bro. So it's easy. But now you're gonna get powered up because it's gonna be out there. You're gonna hear it on the radio. You're gonna hear people love it, and now you're gonna want to work on your craft.
Exactly.
Literally.
That's crazy, man. He actually brought this story up on the pod. Like, we need a part two. We're gonna get a part two and stuff like that. But ladies and gentlemen, I just want to say, and first of all, do is just clap it up for Don Cannon. For real, bro.
A classic episode.
Yeah,
I'm turned.
Yeah, because we're in transition with our pod and stuff like that, and we're going more of a guest base because we felt like this is really our superpower as far as just talking to people, because we take people like obviously very serious, you know, with this thing. But again, thank you for your time.
Y'all need more people on it too.
Oh yeah.
And I'm extending, there's the olive branch. I'm extending, if you need help doing that, I'm definitely.
Oh, I really appreciate that, though. Yeah. I think our fans are screaming at the shit. But we really appreciate that. I want you to know, like, anybody that sits in this in front of, we take very serious. Like, we take the situation very serious. So thank you again, bro. And on that, I'm going to wrap it up. I'm not even going to, I feel like it's like beside myself to say, so shout out your socials, Don Cannon. It's like, just do a Google, bro. You'll be fine. But I just want to say, this has been the My Studio Nerds podcast, the podcast for studio nerds like yourself. Please make sure you comment, like, and subscribe. Remember, one lucky person in that comment section is going to get that VIP gold edition of any of our plugins. Also, Courtney, you want to tell them about the membership, my friend?
So you already know. We're still at The Circle, right?
That's right, we are.
HMD, what, The Circle?
The HMDcircle.com.
You already know we have exclusive content, live mix and master sessions, We have guests that come through on the mix and master sessions.
That's a fact.
Yeah.
This will be, obviously, members saw this way before y'all.
the regular audience. So
Yeah.
you already know. Sign up.
Type shit.
Yeah.
And that's it. It's the My Studio Nerds podcast. Ladies and gentlemen, Don Cannon. One more time, clap it up for Don Cannon. I can't stop it. Be out of here, y'all.
And remember, are we still doing and remember?
Yeah, it's fine.
And remember, it don't matter what you've done in the past. You got to still show up, man.
That's a fact.
That's right.
They're going to challenge you.
All right, y'all.
That's right.